After Rebirth, I squandered the school beauty's little fortune. Sukan returned to college and saw the transfer record to the scumbag girl as soon as he woke up. And the scumbag girl's message without any warmth: "I took the money, please take back the love." Sukan was confused. How did he fall into the hands of such a gold digger in his previous life? He asked for the money back and decided to seal his heart and lock his love. Since he was reborn, he must seize the opportunity of the times, work hard to make money, and embark on a legendary life. Unexpectedly, he met the rich woman Chu Youwei as soon as he went out, and she threw $1 million on his head. Sukan woke up. How can he live a life of luxury by relying on his own efforts? I have been reborn, so it's not too much for me to cling to a rich woman, right? Chapter 1, I took the money, but you can take back your affections. Transferred 5,200 yuan to Lin Shanshan. Sukan, happy birthday, Lin Shanshan. I like you. 5,200 yuan transfer received. Lin Shanshan, I'm sorry, Sukan, but I don't want to date anyone right now. Can you give me some time to think about it? I've received the money, but you can take back your feelings. Looking at the chat history on the WeChat app, Sukan fell silent. 5 minutes ago. When he slowly opened his eyes, he realized that everything around him was exactly the same as the male dormitory from his university days. There was no difference whatsoever. After slapping himself hard, Sukan realized this wasn't a dream. Only then did he realize he might have been reborn. The first thing he did after his rebirth was to immediately open his phone. When he saw that the date on his phone was October 9, 2013, a bad premonition crept into his mind. Shit. October 9th. Isn't that bitch's birthday on October 8th? Did I just happen to be reborn after that event happened? With that thought in mind, Sukan quickly opened WeChat. And the transfer record of 5,200 yuan in the chat window was like a slap in his face. Sukan was stunned. Damn it, God. You couldn't have picked a better time for my rebirth, could you? Why did you pick this exact moment, right after everything went down? Sukan was completely speechless. Lin Shanshan was the school beauty in his university days. She was also the first person he ever had a crush on. When Sukan found out Lin Shanshan's birthday was in October, he spent the entire summer working at an electronics factory. He also worked part-time jobs whenever he could. Finally, after working so hard, he managed to save up 5,200 yuan. Then, the night before, he tried to invite Lin Shanshan out on a date to have dinner and watch a movie. She rejected him. Unable to handle the rejection, he was dragged by a few friends from the dorm to a barbecue and drinks. At the drinking table, Sukan was egged on by his idiotic roommates to confess to Lin Shanshan. He was drunk and not fully conscious, so he ended up transferring all the money he'd earned from his summer job and part-time work to Lin Shanshan, and added, "I like you." What followed was Lin Shanshan's shocking response. "I've received the money, but you can take back your feelings." This event dealt a huge psychological blow to Sukan. It stuck with him until he graduated from university at 22, and then through his successful career at 30, he kept the habit of never drinking alcohol. Why? Because every time he drank even a little, he would think back to that embarrassing incident. He felt so ashamed that he wanted to slam his head into a wall. And the worst part was, Lin Shanshan wasn't a good person at all. It was only after the fact that Sukan realized his mistake. Back in middle and high school, he had been an earnest student, focused solely on his studies. He had no clue about love or relationships. But when he got to university, Lin Shanshan actively sought him out for his WeChat ID. Since she was pretty, he immediately gave it to her, and naturally, his thoughts drifted in the wrong direction. Later, he learned that on the first day of university, Lin Shanshan had asked every decent-looking guy in the school for their WeChat ID. In modern internet terms, this was like a sea queen casting a wide net to catch fish. And unfortunately, Sukan had become one of the fish in her pond. Working hard to earn money for her birthday gifts was just a later development. The most embarrassing part for Sukan was that after this 5,200 yuan incident, he still foolishly remained Lin Shanshan's devoted puppy for over 3 more years. This is why people say first love is the purest, right? Every time he thought about it, Sukan wished he could travel back in time and give his younger self a good beating. After graduation, Sukan finally understood. All of her "I don't want to date anyone" nonsense was just because she thought he was poor. Because less than a year after graduating, Lin Shanshan quickly got married. And her husband The son of her company's boss, a second-generation rich kid worth over $1 billion. When Sukan received the wedding invitation from Lin Shanshan, it felt like lightning had struck him. He stared at their groom on the invitation, who was shorter than Lin Shanshan, and couldn't he help but ask on WeChat. Is this the standard answer? What does he have that I don't? Lin Shanshan's reply was short and to the point. He's not as tall as you, nor does he take care of me like you do. But the way he drives a Ferrari with one hand is so cool. That was when Sukan finally realized. Lin Shanshan was a completely shallow woman. From the beginning, all she cared about was money. From that moment on, Sukan locked his heart away and never again believed in love. This woman had inflicted deep wounds on him. But thanks to her, after the painful emotional blow, Sukan threw himself into his career. Before reaching 30, he became the general manager of a publicly listed company with an annual salary close to 10 million. However, the relentless work took a toll on his health. It seemed that he passed out and died from alcohol poisoning during a drinking session, which was when he was reborn into his current time. Now, knowing that he had already died once, Sukan no longer cared. He tore off the mask and angrily typed, "Slut, give me back my money." He sent the message in a fit of rage. Though 5,200 yuan wasn't a huge sum, by the time Sukan was 30, he had earned countless 5,200s. But none of those could match the emotional weight of the 5,200 yuan that he had earned through sweat and tears in the factory. Having that money wasted by such a woman made Sukan feel as if he were dying inside. Meanwhile, in the girls' dormitory, Lin Shanshan was playing with her newly bought iPhone 5S, proudly showing it off to her roommates. Check out the latest 5s. Isn't it gorgeous? It was a gift from a puppy who confessed to me yesterday. LOL. A broke loser thinking he can date me. He's like a toad dreaming of eating swan meat. Just as Lin Shanshan was gloating, a message popped up on her phone. The contact was saved as puppy number 43, Sukan, 1.8m, with abs. Seeing the message was from Sukan, Lin Shanshan smiled and said, "The puppy is coming for more. Let's see what he wants." However, when she opened the WeChat chat and saw the message, her face immediately turned dark. Chapter 2, Ways to Make Money. Sukan, what do you mean by this? Why am I a bad woman? Also, I don't think I owe you any money, right? Lin Shanshan quickly fired off 3 messages. Her words were full of confidence, as if it was Sukan who was unreasonable. However, since Sukan dared to ask for the money back, he naturally had a plan for how to deal with this situation. For someone like Lin Shanshan, who was a manipulative and shallow person, 5,200 yuan wasn't a huge amount of money, but it wasn't negligible either. If she wanted to, she could get countless other dogs to chase after her with just the snap of her fingers. But as the saying goes, when dealing with a snake, aim for its 7-inch weak spot. The best way to deal with such a woman was to destroy the carefully maintained persona she had built. For example, in front of her classmates at school, Lin Shanshan had always portrayed herself as a rich, beautiful, and outgoing person. If others found out her true nature, someone who was materialistic, willing to play with people's feelings, and would stop at nothing for money, her image would be completely shattered. Thinking of this, Sukan quickly typed and sent another message. "Stop pretending. You rejected my confession, but you're quick to take the money. Pay me back the 5,200 yuan, or I'll post our chat history on the school confession wall. I'll let everyone know your true face as a shameless woman." This method worked better than expected. In 2013, campus networks in many universities were still very popular, and the confession walls were places that almost every student followed. Many shy students liked to find potential partners through those walls. If Sukan posted the chat record there, Lin Shanshan's carefully cultivated, rich girl image would be destroyed in an instant. Sure enough, when Lin Shanshan saw Sukan's threat, she panicked. She immediately softened and replied, "What's wrong with you? I'll give the money back, why do you have to cause trouble? With your poor, pathetic look, who could like you? You must be blind." With that, a transfer message popped up. Exactly 5,200 yuan. Not a penny less. Sukan quickly accepted the money and replied, "Who is poor and pathetic is clear to me. As for you, I must have been blind to fall for you." With that, Sukan blocked and deleted her, not giving this shameless woman another chance to annoy him. Sure enough, when Lin Shanshan saw Sukan's reply, she was so enraged that she almost exploded. She quickly typed a long message full of curses. But when she clicked send, she was met with a red exclamation mark instead. In an instant, Lin Shanshan let out a high-pitched scream that was so loud it shocked the entire girls' dormitory. "Sukan? I'm not done with you." Meanwhile, Sukan had no idea that Lin Shanshan was holding a grudge against him. Even if he did know, he wouldn't care. He had already seen through her true nature, so there was no fear of what she might do to him. But then, something struck Sukan. Wait a minute. I've been reborn. And clearly, he still remembered everything that happened from the age of 20 to 30 in his previous life. This meant that he could now make use of this advantage, this information gap, to live a life far better than before. Despite reaching the level of general manager at a listed company in his previous life, the journey had been full of hardships, struggles, and challenges that he couldn't even share with anyone. But now, a golden opportunity was right in front of him. What could he do in 2013? Sukan began to seriously consider this. The reason he demanded the 5,200 yuan from Lin Shanshan was mainly because he couldn't accept that his first heartfelt love was completely wasted on such a shallow person. Now that the money was returned, he had made peace with himself. It was time to return to the main focus, to work hard, make money, marry a rich and beautiful woman, and reach the peak of life. But wait. Sukan suddenly shook his head. No, it shouldn't be about working hard to make money. It should be about making money easily. After all, with the memories of 2 lifetimes, if he still had to work hard to make money, it would be too embarrassing. 2013. This is such an awkward time. Most people are still using the first generation smartphones. There's no 4G yet. Short videos haven't taken off, and Douyin doesn't even exist. People mostly use their phones for simple games or reading novels. As for online novels, there are plenty of works that could be copied and monetized, like Rebirth of the Urban Immortal Cultivator, or Global High Martial Arts. They are all works that could be copied and sold for profit. But for someone who has been reborn, do I really have to rely on writing every day to make money? That's a bit shameful, isn't it? Sukan paused, pondering if there was a faster way to make money. At that moment, a thought flashed in his mind. Bitcoin. That's right. If his memory served him correctly, October 2013 was just before Bitcoin was about to experience its first major price surge. Back then, the price of Bitcoin was around $100 each. In just 2 months, the value of Bitcoin would rise rapidly. On December 1st, it would peak at around $1,100 each, an increase of more than 10 times the price. The subsequent crash didn't concern Sukan. What mattered was how to take advantage of that brief period of high prices to make a significant profit. At $100 per Bitcoin, that was roughly 700 Chinese yuan each. Right now, he only had about 5,000 to 6,000 yuan in his pocket, far from enough to buy even 10 Bitcoin. How could he make money like this? Sukan frowned as he walked out of the dorm and leaned against the railing in the hallway, unable to think of a way to quickly raise the capital. Just then, a slender figure passed by below, catching Sukan's attention. The girl was tall, about 1.7 meters, and her graceful figure was hidden beneath an old, loose school uniform. She always wore her long hair down, with her face largely concealed by thick bangs. She was the kind of person who wouldn't stand out in a crowd. But Sukan knew her. Damn it, how could he have almost forgotten this little treasure? Chapter 3, Chu Youwei appears. This girl's surname is Chu, and her full name is Chu Youwei. For 4 years in college, she was the type of student completely ignored by everyone, a small, unnoticed presence. The only reason Sukan could talk to her was that she was his desk mate. That was it. No other reason at all. Perhaps it was because of her introverted personality, or maybe something else, but either way, for all 4 years, she wore an old high school uniform. Not many people noticed that under that uniform, there was a storm brewing. Her delicate face was always hidden behind thick bangs, which meant that no one ever paid attention to her. It wasn't until the day of the university graduation ball that things changed. All the girls in the class were preparing for the event, and everyone believed that Lin Shanshan would be the most dazzling star of the ball. But when Chu Youwei made her grand entrance, wearing a black evening gown, her long hair elegantly styled, she stunned everyone with her breathtaking beauty. The entire room was left in awe. Lin Shanshan was so furious she almost ground her teeth to dust. When the night ended, no one expected that the person who came to pick Chu Youwei up would be a Rolls-Royce Cullinan. The huge contrast left everyone dumbfounded. And the most surreal part came after that. After Chu Youwei elegantly sat in the back seat of the Cullinan, she actually turned to Sukan and invited him to join her. She asked if he needed a ride home. But at that time, Sukan was still infatuated with the scumbag Lin Shanshan, and Lin Shanshan, driven by jealousy, even went so far as to take Sukan's arm and ask him to take her home. Blinded by happiness, Sukan completely missed the fleeting sadness in Chu Youwei's eyes. Instead, he chose to hold Lin Shanshan's hand and insisted on taking her home. 10 years passed without any news of Chu Youwei. When they finally met again, it was at a grand event attended by countless business elites. Once again, she was wearing a black evening gown, but this time, she was the absolute star of the event, while Sukan, despite being the chairman of a company worth billions, was nothing more than a mere backdrop. It seemed that the chairman noticed Sukan's absent-minded expression and teased him. "What's wrong? Do you like that girl? Don't get your hopes up. She's not someone you can reach. Although she's unmarried, and I haven't heard of her having any dating scandals, she's the daughter of the Chu group, with a fortune in the billions. Even if you're already doing well for yourself, you're nothing compared to those born with a silver spoon." Sukan couldn't remember if Chu Youwei recognized him at that event, but he didn't approach her. After all, the gap between their statuses was now too great to bridge. But there was one thing about Chu Youwei that Sukan would never forget. After he transferred the 5,200 yuan to Lin Shanshan, there was a period when he was financially struggling so much so that he could barely afford a meal. Whenever he cried poor to Chu Youwei, she would coldly reply, "You deserve it," and then casually toss him a bank card, saying, "Go spend it. It's got $1 million in it, and the password is my birthday." Sukan still remembers that black card, which had no text or information except for a golden dragon design. Every time he received it, he thought she was just playing a joke on him. He would throw it back and jokingly scold her, "Hey, Chu Youwei, are you serious? I'm starving, and you're playing games with me, huh? If you're really that kind-hearted, just help me get a plate of fried rice with 2 eggs, no onions." Looking back now, Sukan realizes that the card probably was a VIP black card from some high-end bank. But at the time, he was too blind to appreciate it. Despite that, Chu Youwei remained loyal to him. Even though Sukan refused her kindness many times, she would always drag him to the cafeteria whenever he was about to starve, insisting that he eat, and repeatedly reminding him that he owed her. In the end, Sukan never found the chance to repay her. But now, although he didn't know exactly why Chu Youwei was standing outside the boys' dormitory, Sukan felt that this little fortune bringer might be worth trying to talk to. Others might not have enough money to lend him, but Chu Youwei surely did. Her family had a fortune worth hundreds of billions, maybe even more. He could try to convince her to invest a few 100,000, or even $1 million. That shouldn't be too much to ask, right? Without further hesitation, Sukan rushed downstairs, hoping to catch her before she left. He intercepted her under a big tree in front of the boys' dormitory. "Hey! Chu Youwei, what are you doing here?" Surprised by his sudden appearance, Chu Youwei trembled slightly, and Sukan could sense her nervousness. She timidly replied, "Nothing. Just passing by." That was when Sukan noticed that she was holding a thermos cup, clutching it tightly in both hands, her knuckles turning white. "I say. You weren't waiting for me, were you? You could just texted me if you needed something. Waiting like this won't get you anywhere." Sukan couldn't help but comment. Chu Youwei had always been such a mysterious person, hard to figure out. When she heard what he said, she hurriedly denied it. "Who's waiting for you? I'm just passing by." After 10 years, back to the time when their relationship was still normal, Sukan was excited and even thought of teasing her a little. He walked closer, pinning her gently against the tree in a playful wall-push position. "Really not waiting for me?" he asked with a smirk. This move clearly caught Chu Youwei off guard. Even through her thick bangs, Sukan could see her face turning red. She kicked out unexpectedly, scolding him, "Get lost, you're a pervert." Chapter 4, a project worth several $100 million. "Fuck. You are such a vicious woman. If you ruin the sexual happiness of my lower body, you will be responsible." Sukan quickly dodged, but couldn't help shouting at the same time. "Joke. If this kick hits the target, most likely, your family line will be cut off." But it seems to be Sukan's funny look. This made Chu Youwei let down her guard a little. She just tilted her head. As if she was a little shy, she handed the thermos cup to Sukan. This was said softly. You messaged me yesterday. I went out drinking with some buddies from the dormitory. He was also talking about confessing his feelings to Lin Shanshan. I thought you must have drunk too much. So I made some honey water for you, just in time to sober you up. Hear this. Sukan felt touched for a moment. I really didn't expect that. Chu Youwei actually has such a warm side. In his previous life, he was immersed in the sorrow of failing to confess his love. Didn't even leave the door. Naturally, it is impossible for him to know that a girl wanted to give him honey water. I waited all day downstairs of the boys' dormitory. Thank you for that. It's all my fault. I was drunk and that's what happened. I was talking to people on the phone everywhere. I hope I didn't disturb your sleep last night. Sukan scratched his head a little embarrassedly. Chu Youwei shook her head. Then he suddenly asked nervously. So, did you succeed in your confession? When Chu Youwei said this, his fists were clenched tightly. I didn't even notice my nails digging into my flesh. Fine. Sukan shook his head. This made her let down her guard instantly. Patting Sukan's shoulder, said carelessly. So it didn't work. Harmful. Don't be discouraged, young man. This is just your first confession. It's no big deal. Failure is the mother of success. Chu Youwei was comforting Sukan. At the same time, he breathed a sigh of relief. Actually, what Sukan didn't know was, the first time he and Chu Youwei met was not in this university, but when I was very young. We met in my hometown. But at that time, Chu Youwei had short hair, wore tattered clothes, and was covered in dust and mud. In the trash can, I searched everywhere for various waste that could be sold for money. And just when she was bullied by a group of bad kids, when she kicked all the bottles and jars that she had collected with great effort into pieces, it was Sukan who stepped forward and drove away those bad boys with a bruised face. This also made Chu Youwei develop a liking for Sukan when she was very young. Then the two of them spent a carefree summer vacation. But later, some changes happened in Chu Youwei's family. So they had to move and leave that small county town. However, Chu Youwei still made inquiries from many sources. Finally, in my senior year of high school, I learned about the university Sukan wanted to apply to and the major he wanted to study in the future. This led to the two meeting again in college. But more than 10 years have passed. Sukan had long since failed to recognize Chu Youwei in front of him. It turned out to be his childhood playmate, the dirty kid. Hearing Chu Youwei comforting herself, Sukan was happy. How? You really hope that I can succeed in my confession? This was a sudden question. Chu Youwei was completely confused. All I heard was her R. There was no further development. Forget it. That's all. It doesn't matter if I tell you. That kind of woman, I am really blind to like her. After saying, Sukan told him what happened last night. I told Chu Youwei it again. After figuring out the whole story, Chu Youwei was also speechless. Did she really say that? I took the money, but you take back the kindness. Sukan nodded. Then who says it isn't? Who could have thought of that? Can a mouth that is 37 degrees Celsius say such cold words? Chu Youwei was also confused. Then he asked again. And the money? What about the money? This is 5,000 too. You saved all this money by living frugally. I saw it all. I heard Chu Youwei was concerned about money. Sukan immediately took out his cell phone. I showed her my savings of 5,200 yuan. Then he said proudly, Don't worry, I'm not someone who will suffer so easily. A little trick. Just give Lin Shanshan back to me. I heard from Sukan that the money will be returned. Chu Youwei finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then he punched Sukan hard on the shoulder. Said angrily, You big idiot. Cry poor to me every day. Just come to me for a meal whenever you want. Okay, love is to save all the money and spend it on other women. You've really gone too far. I saw Chu Youwei was so angry that she almost cried. Sukan coaxed quickly. Don't. Sister, I was wrong, isn't that okay? I was a fool at first. I was blinded by that vixen. Come on, I'll treat you to a meal, order whatever you want today. I'll pay for it. Sukan said with a domineering look on his face. Chu Youwei's expression then eased a little. Then he bared his teeth and shouted menacingly. Good. You said it, so I'm going to slaughter you today. The two of them then went to the cafeteria together and started showing off their food. He said he wanted to kill Sukan. But when Chu Youwei ordered something to eat. Still quite sensible. The two of them ordered 3 dishes in total. One of the dishes is soup. What's more important is. Every dish is Sukan's favorite. After a good meal and a good drink. After a big burp. Sukan then put his hand on Chu Youwei's shoulder. Bared his fangs. What? Chu Youwei. Can I discuss something with you? I have a project I want to talk to you about. Listen to me first, and then think about it and see if you have any intention of cooperating. Hear the word project. Chu Youwei became alert instantly. Their whole body is tensed. Their voice began to tremble. He asked fearfully, you're not talking about a project worth hundreds of millions, are you? How many hundreds of millions? Sukan was stunned for a moment. A few 100 million is not a bad idea, right? According to the tenfold increase in Bitcoin, an investment of tens of millions can indeed bring a return of hundreds of millions. Is this sister so generous? And just when he was about to answer, suddenly realized. Chu Youwei probably didn't mean that. It's 13 years now. During this period, there was a very well-known gangster meme. Their boy tells the girl that he wants to discuss a project worth hundreds of millions of dollars with her. But what does it actually mean? I can only say that those who understand will understand. Sukan was stunned. Could it be that this girl misunderstood me? Thinking of this, Sukan immediately explained. Wait a minute, don't get the wrong idea. The project I'm talking about is not that kind of project. It's a serious project. As a result, as soon as these words came out, Sukan regretted it. Originally, people might not have thought of the topic in a distorted way, but after I explained it this way, it is impossible not to think of the topic in a distorted way. As expected. After Chu Youwei heard this, his face turned red instantly. She said coquettishly. Go away. Who has the wrong idea? You are the one who has the wrong idea. It seemed that Chu Youwei was really about to get angry. Sukan no longer hid it. He quickly told Chu Youwei his thoughts, including planning to borrow money from her. However, what he didn't expect was, after hearing this sentence, a look of surprise appeared on Chu Youwei's face. He speechlessly took out a black bank card from his pocket. He threw it directly into Sukan's hands. Said with a helpless look on his face. That's all. I thought you were looking for me for something. Sukan, I don't understand what currency you are talking about. But if you want to borrow money, you've found the right person. There should be more than 1 million in this card. Take it and spend it as you like. As long as you don't commit any crime, it doesn't matter if you use it up. I don't plan to touch this money anyway. Hear this. Sukan was dumbfounded. He knew that Chu Youwei, the rich little woman, was rich. But never thought about it. How could he be that rich? More than 1 million yuan, he just lent it to me without blinking an eye. Chapter 5, Into the Woods. No. What kind of family? This is 1 million. Does your family own a mine? Sukan couldn't help it. He asked with a look of shock. There was an obvious sign of struggle on Chu Youwei's face. It seems like there is something unspeakable. But hesitated again and again. I still couldn't say it, so I could only bite my lip and say it stubbornly. Don't worry about where the money came from. Anyway, I haven't used it, and I don't want to use it. It's just right that you spend it. It's all owed to me and my mom by that bastard anyway. Hear this. Sukan felt that there was a story behind this girl. But he was tactful enough not to ask any more questions. Anyway, the most important thing for him now is to get some startup capital. And now, Chu Youwei was just able to provide him with this startup capital. Therefore, Sukan didn't ask any more questions. But he said it seriously again. Good. Then let me reiterate it to you again. I'm lending you this million for investment, to trade Bitcoin, similar to trading stocks. And later, no matter how much money we make, we will split it 50-50 after deducting your 1 million yuan principal. No one will take advantage of the other. Do you understand? Sukan's hands were shaking as he held the bank card. It's not like he hasn't seen so much money before. But mainly I think about 1 month later. The benefits that this million can bring. He couldn't help but be extremely excited at this moment. Chu Youwei, on the other hand, acted as if nothing had happened. He waved his hands repeatedly. Okay, you've repeated it several times. I know, you're so long-winded. Then, after the two of them discussed it, prepare to take advantage of the lunch break. Find a small corner in the school where no one is. Do it well. Soon, the two of them found a good place. A small forest behind the girls' dormitory. It is known as a rendezvous spot for lovers. Because there was no surveillance along the way, it is difficult to be discovered by the teachers in the teaching department. Unless you are caught in the act. Otherwise, it is difficult to obtain any substantial evidence. Although Sukan was a rookie who had never been in a relationship during his 3 years of high school. But there are too many romantic people in the dormitory. It happens over and over again. You will know these hidden corners. It was also the first time for Chu Youwei to go to a place like the woods with a boy. He seemed very nervous along the way. Especially when you see it on the ground. There are also various traces left by many other young couples. I couldn't stop blushing and my heart beating. However, Sukan did not notice these strange things about Chu Youwei. Said with excitement. Okay, now that we're here, let's get started. Sukan asked this sudden question. Chu Youwei was even more confused. Work? What are you doing? This kid. It can't be under the guise of borrowing money. Just to invite me to a place like this. Seeing Chu Youwei still in a daze, Sukan urged immediately. My cell phone. Please lend me your phone. I'm not like a rich woman like you who can't even use a phone in high school. This is a fact. It is now 2013. Smartphones have only been around for 2 or 3 years. A family like his. It would be great if I could use the old cell phone that my parents have passed away. Hear this. Chu Youwei immediately came to her senses. He took out a Xiaomi 1 phone with a broken screen from his pocket. See this phone? Sukan was a little stunned. That's not right. Even a gold digger like Lin Shanshan knows that if she wants to use something, she should use the latest model of Apple phone. How come Chu Youwei is a real rich girl? Instead, you are using a Xiaomi phone with a shattered screen? I saw Sukan in a daze. Chu Youwei hurriedly explained. Sukan, don't look at this phone screen being broken like this. It's actually still usable, it's just a little strain on the eyes. That's right. You don't know how to use a smartphone. Do you want me to teach you? Hear this. Sukan waved his hands quickly. No, I just didn't expect that the phone you use would be like this. Just give me your phone, I know how to use it. Har, when I make money, I'll buy you a new one. Hear this. Chu Youwei also laughed. Good. Sukan, you said this. I bought this millet with the money I earned from working part-time. My studies have been very busy lately, so I don't have time to work part-time. So I haven't been able to earn enough money to replace the screen. Hear this. Sukan was a little puzzled. Don't you have millions in your bank card? Why not spend it? But Sukan is a sensible person. He knows what to ask and what not to ask. So he wisely chose to avoid the topic. Instead, he took the phone and started operating it fluently. Luckily, it's an Android phone. If it were Apple, you would have to jailbreak it or something, which saves a lot of trouble. In fact, the operation process of Bitcoin is very simple. The first thing is to download a VPN software. Enable this phone to log into foreign websites. Then find a Bitcoin exchange to register with. After registration, create a Bitcoin digital account to store Bitcoin. After, you can trade and purchase Bitcoin. And Sukan did not hesitate. After Chu Youwei got the password, just go all in. Withdrew all the money in this bank card to the exchange. Use it to buy Bitcoin. If you don't see, you won't know. Take a look at the balance in this bank card account. Sukan was really scared. No more, no less. It turned out to be exactly 1.2 million. Today's Bitcoin is $127 per coin, which, based on an exchange rate of 1 to 7, is 889 yuan per coin. Use Wuxia currency for settlement. 1,200,000 is 1,349 bitcoins. And these bitcoins, in 2 months, it will skyrocket tenfold and bring you a profit of more than 10 million. Even if they split it equally with Chu Youwei, each of them could get nearly 5 million. It can be said to be a super high rate of return. After a series of crackling operations, almost an hour, the lunch break is about to end. Sukan finally completed the Bitcoin operation. A full 1.2 million. After the purchase of Bitcoin is completed, the balance in the bank card was emptied in an instant, and now only a pitiful few hundred yuan is left. But instead of, that's exactly 1,349 bitcoins lying in the Bitcoin digital wallet. Think about the crazy rise of Bitcoin 1 month later. Sukan couldn't stop feeling excited. Money. This is all money. I didn't expect to get my first pot of gold after my rebirth. It was so easy for me to make money. How could he not be happy? And after the Bitcoin matter is completed, the two of them should go back to their respective dormitories. Clean up. Getting ready to go to the classroom for class. But Sukan didn't expect it. Just when he and Chu Youwei emerged from the woods. What a coincidence. Let Lin Shanshan see it. Chapter 6, Ugly People Often Do Evil Things. Turn out to be. Lin Shanshan took advantage of the lunch break. I had a good sleep. She was sitting in front of the dressing table putting on makeup, preparing to hook up with a rich man. And what a coincidence. When Sukan pulled Chu Youwei out of the woods, it just happened to be caught by Lin Shanshan's sharp-eyed roommates. He quickly pulled Lin Shanshan and said, Shanshan, look. Isn't that Sukan, the loser who has been chasing you? Why is he dragging another girl out of the woods? Hear this. Lin Shanshan was also very angry. Before, Sukan took care of himself and asked for the money back. She hasn't told these roommates yet. Just think of it as the dog's rebellious phase. It's okay to just let it dry for a few days. The result was unexpected. Sukan actually pulled another girl into the woods. Then this is not just a matter of a licker's rebellious period. But he is a complete bootlicker who is about to rebel. Okay. Good for you, Sukan. I was wondering why your attitude towards me suddenly changed 180 degrees. It turns out there's a new love. Okay, I want to see how this woman is better than me. Lin Shanshan thought with gritted teeth in her heart. I didn't have time to finish putting on my makeup. He rushed downstairs in a hurry. Finally, they were stopped before Sukan and the other man left. Yo! Isn't this classmate Sukan? How? You forgot about me so quickly. Take your lover on a date in the woods. Hearing Lin Shanshan's sarcastic voice, Sukan and the other two turned their heads to look unconsciously. Chu Youwei's face turned red in an instant. The main reason is that the 3 words, little lover, are too destructive. She was originally a bit introverted. At this moment, he was hiding behind Sukan. I don't even dare to go out and see people. Lin Shanshan. What are you doing here? Sukan was also confused. I clearly don't want to have any entanglement with this scumbag anymore. I didn't expect that this scumbag would come up to me again on her own initiative. Nothing else. The main thing is, at least you pursued me. I was thinking of agreeing to your request this month. I didn't expect you to change your mind so quickly. Oh. Man. Is this all your perseverance? Also, take a look at what your new partner is better than me. Otherwise, why is Lin Shanshan considered a top-level green tea? A few words. She portrayed herself as a poor girl abandoned by a heartless man. For a while, girls passing by and watching the show, the eyes they looked at Sukan and the other two were somewhat unfriendly. And at this moment, some people even recognized Chu Youwei, who was hiding behind Sukan at a glance. Why? Isn't this Chu Youwei who is in the same class as Sukan? I know her. She and Sukan are desk mates. This girl has a very strange personality. She is always indifferent to everyone, even to those in her dormitory. I didn't expect that. She looks like an unknown person at ordinary times, but when it comes to flirting with men, she has all sorts of tricks. Because Lin Shanshan is the school belle. He is also good at creating a naive and innocent persona for himself, so he is very popular in school. Coupled with the pitiful performance just now, naturally most girls chose to stand on Lin Shanshan's side and speak for her. And at this moment, I heard someone blaming Chu Youwei. More people who wanted to take advantage of the situation stood up one after another. That's right. Chu Youwei and I live in the same dormitory. This woman is really not good. Ugly people are more likely to do bad things. He's not very sociable and extremely stingy. Usually we organize dinner parties in the dormitory or go out to play together. I asked her politely if she wanted to go out with me, but she never agreed even once. Besides, we all live in the same dormitory. If someone runs out of skin care products, shampoo, shower gel, etc., we can borrow them from each other. It shouldn't be a big deal, right? As a result, didn't I run out of shampoo once? I just squeezed her shampoo a few times, thinking it was just a little bit of shampoo. What's wrong with me borrowing it? Who knew that after Chu Youwei saw it, she threw the bottle of shampoo on my desk without saying a word and bought a new one. But after that, I never saw her putting her toiletries in the public area again. She always kept them for herself and used them secretly. Good job. The moment I heard these words, Sukan was completely numb. He felt a little sorry for Chu Youwei. What kind of monsters live in this dormitory? At most, they just don't like others touching their personal belongings. Can this be considered stingy? I saw the girls around me still chattering and making nonsense. Sukan couldn't bear it anymore. He quickly protected Chu Youwei behind him. Then he sneered. Lin Shanshan. I have to say, you are really good at stirring people up. If I didn't know what kind of person you are in private, I would probably have been fooled by you. Come on, stop pretending. We are all 1,000-year-old foxes. What are you trying to do with me? It's just that the fish in the pond escaped, so you feel a little uncomfortable for a while, right? I'm telling you clearly again, I was blind when I pursued you before. As for Chu Youwei, we are not boyfriend and girlfriend at the moment, we are just partners. You gold diggers, you dare to whine here and bully others by taking advantage of your power. I have a message for you exactly as it is. Ugly people often do weird things. After saying, Sukan pulled Chu Youwei away without saying a word. Along the way, Chu Youwei kept her head down the whole time. Not even a glance. Sukan thought that she was hit by the words just now. He quickly comforted her. Don't take what those people said just now to heart, just treat it as if they were farting. If you don't like this dormitory, just ask the counselor to change it. I laughed too. What a bunch of monsters. Sukan had seen how Chu Youwei amazed the whole audience. So, he didn't believe the nonsense those women said at all. As for Chu Youwei being stingy, Sukan was happy. A rich woman who can easily take out $1 million, you tell me she is stingy? Sukan would never believe it, okay? However, Chu Youwei just shook her head. Said somewhat helplessly. Without. That's not what I meant. I don't care what others say about me. After all, I have been criticized a lot since I was a child. I'm immune. It was you who scolded those girls today. Sukan, do you know that among girls, clinging to each other is very serious? I'm worried that you won't be able to find a girlfriend in the next few years of college. Chapter 7, Renovation. Sukan was a little confused. He even suspected that there was something wrong with Chu Youwei's thinking process. I have been slandered like that. I'm actually worried about finding a girlfriend. So I didn't even think about it. Blurted out. Fine. Aren't you still here? But as soon as these words were spoken, both of them were silent for a moment. Sukan was embarrassed. Broken. I let it slip accidentally. His wolfish ambitions were exposed so quickly. Chu Youwei's face suddenly turned red. She didn't expect it either. Sukan is surprisingly so direct. Sukan was so scared that he quickly waved his hands and explained. No, no, no. That's not what I meant, don't get me wrong. I mean, aren't we friends? It doesn't matter if I find a girlfriend or not, I just want you to be with me. As soon as he finished speaking, Sukan wanted to slap himself a few times. Never mind. Better not to explain. The more I explain, the less clear it becomes. And just at this moment, Chu Youwei suddenly asked in a deep voice. Sukan. Am I really ugly? Actually, this is a big part of the reason why Chu Youwei is introverted. It stems from lack of confidence in one's own conditions. Because when I was very young, my father disappeared. She was left alone with her mother. Chu Youwei's mother is not in good health either. A tiny salary. It was barely enough to pay Chu Youwei's tuition. Daily life is very difficult. Fortunately, Chu Youwei is very sensible. I started carrying a sack at a very young age and picking up scraps to supplement my family income. However, beautiful clothes and skirts, which are things that girls of the same age have, were a complete luxury for Chu Youwei in her childhood. He always wears worn-out and ill-fitting clothes, and he always smells strange. As a result, Chu Youwei had to endure countless malice and contempt when she was a child. This caused her to live in inferiority and introversion. It can be seen from the simplest hairstyle and dress. I always have thick bangs. She hid her pretty face tightly, not daring to let anyone see it. And her graceful figure is often wrapped in various ill-fitting and loose coats all year round. This has always been Chu Youwei's idea. When buying clothes, buy them several sizes larger so that you can still wear them when you grow up. Therefore, when she asked this question, no kidding. Instead, she was worried from the bottom of her heart that Sukan would dislike her. But Sukan heard this sentence. It's a little bit Versailles. He had seen Chu Youwei dazzle and stun the whole audience. And Chu Youwei 10 years later. It made him feel even more ashamed of himself, and he dared not even think of reaching for someone higher than him. That kind of confidence and queen-like temperament. Like a flower on a high mountain, Sukan was impressed by her. Everyone thinks Lin Shanshan is the school belle. But only Sukan knew. If the girl in front of you bloom your true beauty, Lin Shanshan is not even worthy of carrying shoes. Therefore, after hearing this, Sukan naturally put his hand on Chu Youwei's forehead. Questioned. I don't have a fever. What nonsense are you talking about? How can you be ugly? Let me tell you, you are 10,000 times prettier than Lin Shanshan or something like that. Although Sukan's tone was very sincere. But they say 10,000 times or something. It's obviously meant to comfort people. Therefore, Chu Youwei said with a somewhat lonely look in her eyes. Sukan, thank you for comforting me. But I am still very self-aware. I'm glad you said that. Now it was Sukan's turn to be anxious. Why don't you believe me when I tell you? Just at this moment, Sukan saw some classmates setting up the venue inside the school. There are colorful flags and notices saying, "Welcome new students," everywhere. He suddenly remembered. Due to the continuous heavy rains this year, this resulted in the freshman welcome party being postponed again and again. Their freshman welcome party was originally supposed to be held in September. It was delayed until tonight before it really started. And if he remembered correctly, previous life, Lin Shanshan appeared in a white dress. I presented a song, Because of Love, to everyone. It immediately amazed the audience. She became the undisputed #1 in the school beauty contest in the next 3 years. I don't know how many boys' hearts she has become. But since I have been reborn, naturally, it is impossible for Lin Shanshan to live such a comfortable life. School beauty? Here you go. Think of this. Sukan immediately said to Chu Youwei. If I remember correctly, all the classes this afternoon are electives, right? Hear this. Chu Youwei tilted her head and thought for a while. Then he nodded. I don't know what Sukan is going to do. But what she didn't expect was Sukan simply grabbed his arm. Then he chuckled and said, okay. Then just run away. It doesn't matter if you make it up to me next time. After saying, Sukan pulled Chu Youwei and trotted out of the school gate. The Bitcoin has already been bought today anyway. In a short time. I can't think of any new ideas to make money. Why not take advantage of this time? Experience the campus life in college. In my previous life, I was busy being a bootlicker. This time, Sukan wants to make up for his lost youth. The two of them walked out of the school. Just go straight to the barber shop. Chu Youwei was still a little puzzled. What is Sukan going to do? Skip classes and run away from school? Just to bring yourself here to get your hair cut? Teacher Tony, give my friend a big wave of a bad girl. I want something more natural, and no bangs, it'll show off your face. After hearing what Sukan said, Teacher Tony's eyes lit up instantly. Because it is currently 2013. Generally speaking, the more popular hairstyles for women are still the classic black straight hair with bangs, short hair, or bob hair. Long hairstyles like big waves only became popular after 2018. And the friend that Sukan brought. Teacher Tony didn't think there was anything wrong at first glance. But when he lifted his bangs and took a look, I was stunned instantly. Such a beautiful face shape is actually covered by such a large and thick bangs. What a waste of resources. And Teacher Tony thought about it for a while. I was surprised to find out. Long big waves are indeed the most suitable hairstyle for this girl. This guy who looks like a young student. Could he be an expert? Chapter 8. Can you sing? Not even an expert. It was just Sukan's recollection of his meeting with Chu Youwei 10 years later. I just can't forget it. A long black dress. With a big wave on top. The whole audience was amazed in an instant. Sukan doesn't know anything about hair design. But he was sure. Just record the Chu Youwei that you saw at that time. Reproduce it again. It doesn't even need to be a perfect replica. It's about 70% accurate. It's enough to charm everyone in the school. But Chu Youwei was still a little nervous. He asked while pinching the corner of Sukan's clothes. Do you really want to cut your bangs off? Will it be ugly if I show my face? And this time, without waiting for Sukan to answer, Teacher Tony said affirmatively. Don't worry, beautiful lady. Trust your boyfriend's judgment. If you cut your bangs, it will definitely look 10 times better than your current hairstyle. I didn't expect that barbers would say the same thing. Chu Youwei felt a little relieved. Let the barber modify your hairstyle. And waiting is always boring. What's more, most of the students are still in school at this time. The barber shop business is very bleak. I didn't see any other guests coming for half a day. And Sukan was thinking about it. We can't just transform Chu Youwei's image. We have to give this girl a chance to show herself. So what is the best way to show up? Of course I have to go on stage and perform a show. Think of this. Sukan suddenly remembered. I don't think I have ever heard Chu Youwei sing. But he knows. This girl must like listening to music very much. Because he remembers. Chu Youwei has a small MP3. When I have nothing to do, she always wears headphones. Immerse yourself in your own world of music. Then, think of this. He asked on a whim. Chu Youwei, can you sing? Hearing Sukan's sudden question, Chu Youwei was stunned for a moment. This was said with some guilt. Yes, a little bit. Actually, Chu Youwei knows more than just a little bit. In high school, she was once known for her excellent voice. Her music teacher has always strongly advised her to apply to an art college in Shanghai or Beijing. Just to be able to meet Sukan in college. That's why I applied to this university on my own initiative. You can say that. In terms of singing, Chu Youwei is definitely a professional player among ordinary people. I heard her say she can sing. Sukan finally felt relieved. That's okay. I'll report the program to Chu Youwei later. You can also sign up to sing. But now that the type of program has been decided, then the choice of songs becomes a problem. 2013. We are still in an era of fighting among gods. And I have to say it. Lin Shanshan on song selection. Still very high level. If Sukan remembered correctly. Because of Love should be the #1 song on the song charts in 2012. Trying to beat this one with an ordinary song. It's a bit too difficult. Think about it. Sukan still decided to bring out some classic songs that are more recognized by the public. It doesn't matter even if it's a hit song that hasn't been created yet. Think of this. Sukan suddenly thought of the hit song The Wind Rises, which was a huge hit in 2018. Sukan saw a guitar hanging in Teacher Tony's shop. So I asked curiously. Boss, is this guitar yours? Talking about this guitar. Teacher Tony's eyes suddenly turned red. After a long while, he spoke softly. It's mine. I once had a dream of becoming a musician, but later I couldn't make it, so I switched to opening this barber shop. Hear this. Sukan couldn't help but pat the boss on the shoulder to comfort him. Then, he continued. Can you lend me this guitar? I want to play and sing an original song. If you think it's good, Chu Youwei, can you perform on stage with me tonight? Hear this. Chu Youwei let out an R. I was stunned for a moment. Performing on stage in front of so many classmates was something she would never have dared to think about in the past. But when she saw Sukan's determined eyes. But I couldn't bear to refuse. The barber shop owner took the guitar down from the wall. Sukan's singing and playing officially began, accompanied by an elegant prelude. Sukan's unique voice echoed in this small barber shop. We walked and stopped along the way, following the traces of the boys drifting. In the name of love, are you still willing? As the song finished, Sukan then realized that the two of them were actually fascinated by what was being said. It's actually easy to understand. After all, both of them know more or less about music. The original song of The Wind Rises was written by a professional Japanese music producer. The song The Wind Rises, which later became popular in China, was just a song with new lyrics. Therefore, after Sukan finished singing, the two of them couldn't help but applaud. Good. Brother, is this song really your original creation? You're so talented, aren't you? Teacher Tony was confused. He couldn't believe that this young boy, who hadn't even graduated from college, could write such an excellent song. It seems that I was right to give up my dream of music. The gap in talent between people cannot be made up by hard work. Originally, Chu Youwei was a little socially anxious. But after listening to this song sung by Sukan, suddenly I felt moved. Sukan, you mean that we will go on stage tonight and sing this song, right? I can try. For no other reason. It's mainly because of the atmosphere of the song. Especially the line, don't be true or false, don't struggle, don't be afraid of being laughed at. Yes. What is there to be afraid of? Anyway, Sukan is with me. What's wrong with just going on stage and having a go? And seeing Chu Youwei finally mustered up the courage, Sukan also laughed. He nodded quickly. Good. Wait till you get your hair done. Let's go pick out some clothes. I'll have to put on some simple makeup later. After everything is ready, all I have to do is wait to go on stage tonight and amaze everyone. The owner of the barber shop immediately agreed. Don't worry. I promise to give 120% of my strength. I'll give you the most perfect hairstyle. And this guy who's singing, I'll give you a free blow drying later. Just consider it as a thank you for letting me listen to such a beautiful song for free. Tonight, you two young lovers must be the most dazzling couple at the party. Chapter 9: Clothes Make the Man. About 3 hours later. This hairstyle is finally done. I have to say, this hair perm is still a waste of time. But the effect is also obvious. After Teacher Tony helped Chu Youwei blow her hair, she was completely stunned. I can't believe it. The beauty in the mirror. It turned out to be me. She never thought about it. Show your face. It can also be so beautiful. In an instant, I felt that my entire temperament had undergone a drastic change. And seeing Chu Youwei's dazzling appearance, Sukan was also very happy. The barber shop owner also fulfilled his promise. I also helped Sukan to create a hairstyle. Sukan was originally good looking, and after the blow drying, his facial features appear even more profound and three-dimensional, on par with some young stars. This hairstyle is already done. Then comes the more important thing. Of course, it has to be paired with suitable clothing. As the saying goes, clothes make the man and saddles make the horse. It won't work without clothes to set off. Just near this school, there is a commercial street that specializes in selling clothes. Sukan remembered it very clearly. Because Lin Shanshan loves beauty, she had often dragged him, a sucker, to the clothing store to buy clothes in her previous life. It happens over and over again. There are women's clothing stores in the commercial street next door, and he knows them all. And inside one of them is a store. There is one model that is used as a signature product. A long black dress hanging on a model. Lin Shanshan was very excited at one point. But because I'm not tall enough, I can never live up to the temperament of this skirt. I can only give up in disappointment. But Chu Youwei is 1.7 meters tall. Long legs. It definitely holds up this skirt. Think of this. Sukan had nothing to hesitate about. He took Chu Youwei directly to the clothing store. The goal is to go straight to this skirt. And just when Sukan took Chu Youwei to buy clothes. At the same time, in Jiangcheng City, in the most prosperous area, in an office building, in a luxuriously decorated office, a middle-aged man in a suit, looking domineering, looking at the text message about bank card balance changes on the phone. An ecstatic smile instantly appeared on his face. The card I gave to Weiwei, she finally decided to use it. Has Weiwei finally forgiven me and is willing to accept me as an incompetent father? However, when he opened the text message to check the specific content, but I was stunned for a moment. I saw that he had transferred a total of 1.2 million pocket money to his precious daughter's card. It's almost been used up at this point. And judging from the transfer information, this money, all of them have been transferred to a foreign trading platform. The first time, Chu Qianxiao's reaction was, has my precious daughter been deceived by someone? He knew Chu Youwei's character. My daughter has an extremely stubborn personality. It was just because I had let them, mother and daughter, down in the past. Until I made a name for myself abroad. When he returned to Jiangcheng with great success, Chu Youwei refused to acknowledge him as her father no matter what. No matter what he tried. Chu Youwei always treated him indifferently and maintained a cold attitude. She even didn't touch a penny of the money she gave her. You have to know that this is a full 1.2 million. You can buy a house in full in any good location in Jiangcheng. Even though he has a father like me who is worth billions. But Chu Youwei still chose to do part-time odd jobs to earn a living. It can be said that he is very independent and self-reliant. Therefore, Chu Qianxiao's first reaction. It was my own daughter who was deceived. This is a foreign trading organization. An ordinary female college student. How could I have thought of that? Such a large sum of money. Invest in foreign trading institutions for financial management and investment. And Chu Qianxiao himself had just returned from overseas. He knows very well how deep the waters are in foreign financial institutions. If nothing unexpected happens, this is 1.2 million. I guess it's all going to go down the drain. But Chu Qianxiao didn't feel sorry. In terms of his wealth, just 1,200,000. At best, it's not even a splash. But someone actually dared to deceive his precious daughter. At this point, this made Chu Qianxiao very angry. He just dialed a phone on his desk. Soon, a beautiful girl wearing work clothes and looking very capable. Then he appeared in the office. Xiaozheng, you are my most trusted assistant. Go to Jiangcheng University and check if there are any suspicious people around Weiwei recently. Dare you lie to my daughter, Chu Qianxiao? I want to see which bastard is so bold as to do this. After hearing this, a young girl called Xiaozheng. He nodded firmly. Then he left the office. As an excellent business assistant, she had received training similar to that of a special agent since she was a child. Its business capabilities, covering various aspects, including but not limited to disguise, stealing intelligence by various means, etc. The reason why Chu Qianxiao gave this task to her. Naturally, they hope that she can disguise herself as a college student, enter Jiangcheng University, lurk beside Chu Youwei, and catch this person with ulterior motives. And all this, Sukan and Chu Youwei were completely unaware. The two of them are bargaining with the proprietress in a clothing store at the moment. Brother, look at your girlfriend wearing this dress. How beautiful and elegant she is. I'll tell you the truth. Since I got this dress, in the whole 6 months, no other beautiful woman has been able to pull it off. You can find such a beautiful girlfriend, so don't feel bad about spending this little money. 1,000 yuan, this is already the lowest price, it can't be any less, if it's any less I'll lose money. I have to say. Clothes make the man, gold makes the Buddha. When Chu Youwei got a new hairstyle and changed into this black long dress, she walked out of the dressing room. Sukan's eyes widened. She was almost exactly the same as Chu Youwei whom he met at that party. It's just that she doesn't have that much maturity and confidence, and her face looks a little more immature and shy. But it has to be said. The price this lady boss asks is really outrageous. A long black skirt. You dare to ask for 1,500. Why didn't she go and grab it? After Sukan's unremitting efforts, the price was finally cut down to 1,000 yuan. Sukan felt that he could chop further. However, Chu Youwei couldn't hold back any longer. One hand was holding Sukan's arm. The tenderness and love in those eyes was so sweet that it almost made water seep out. The gesture was almost like begging. As if begging Sukan. Buy this skirt quickly. Chapter 10, Stunning Appearance. Actually, although this skirt is indeed very beautiful, but that is not the reason why Chu Youwei was moved. The main reason is that the proprietress is really good at talking. He kept calling her his girlfriend. Chu Youwei was almost dizzy. Now, she just wanted Sukan to buy the dress quickly. It was as if they had tacitly acknowledged their relationship as boyfriend and girlfriend. No way. Sukan could only slash hard one last time. 888. Madam, that's the number. Good luck. If you agree, I'll pay right away, otherwise I'll turn around and leave. Hearing Sukan's firm tone, the proprietress rolled her eyes. He said this reluctantly. Aye. Forget it, brother, just give me the money. Just think of it as me, the boss lady, making friends at a loss today. 888. I don't make a penny and I have to pay money. You and your girlfriend have to take care of my business more often in the future. These words made Chu Youwei even more delighted. Only Sukan's heart was bleeding. Cut it too low. Definitely cut it down. But now that it has come to this. And Chu Youwei likes it too. What else can I do? Just pay the money honestly. After buying a skirt for Chu Youwei, Sukan also went to get a suit for himself. I have to say, this handsome man and beautiful woman always attract a lot of attention when they walk on the street. I don't know how many people there are along the way. He kept turning his head and staring at the two of them. If you don't know, you might think it's some little celebrity filming a TV series on the roadside. And returned to the school. Sukan first asked his good friend in the dormitory to sign up for them. The program is called Singing the Original Song The Wind Rises. Sukan took Chu Youwei to the school's piano club. After all, he had already changed into a suit. If you cross your legs and play the guitar on the stage, it seems a bit out of place. The piano actually goes better with a suit. And these musical instruments and so on. Sukan knows a little bit about it. The main reason is that after becoming rich in the previous life, he wanted to make friends with some upper-class circles. Sukan learned about and tried various hobbies. I can play the piano to some extent. Before going on stage, the two of them had to rehearse the song carefully several times. Make sure you're on stage. There won't be any mistakes or accidents. Chu Youwei didn't expect this either. Sukan actually has such a skill of playing the piano. Looking under the soft light, Sukan in a white suit. The slender fingers flew across the piano keys, and for a moment I was actually a little dazed. She suddenly felt that Sukan was like a treasure, always bringing her various surprises again and again. And just at this moment, Sukan asked with a puzzled look on his face. Why don't you sing? Didn't you find the tune? And at this time, Chu Youwei finally came to her senses. I remembered that the two of them came here to rehearse. Right now. In the empty piano club music room. The two of them are working together to perform a melodious song. Most of the students ran to the auditorium to enjoy the various wonderful programs and performances brought by the senior students. Good. You sing so well. Goddess Shanshan, we love you. Is this the campus beauty selected from the last freshman class? Well deserved, well deserved. And it was around 11 o'clock in the evening. The freshman welcome party is finally coming to an end. As one of the finale shows. As soon as Lin Shanshan appeared on the stage, she instantly became the focus of everyone in the audience. The song, Because of Love, even made some boys shed tears. If Sukan remembered correctly, it was because of this song that it was later posted online by some people. Later, she participated in the National College Beauty Selection Competition. Although Lin Shanshan only got 10th place. But there is no doubt that it also made her famous. Not out of school yet. She has already become a little-known internet celebrity. This was also one of the main reasons why Lin Shanshan was fearless in the face of these suitors. Because she never has to worry about not having a man who wants her. All she has to do is to select the best candidates. Among these men who pursue me, I just try to choose the best one. Now. Sukan in the backstage. When I think of these past events, I just felt nauseous and uncomfortable. I just can't figure it out. How could I have been so bewitched by such a scumbag in my previous life? It's really wrong. And at this moment, Lin Shanshan finished singing. It is finally time for the last program of this freshman welcome party. Actually, Lin Shanshan was still a little puzzled when she stepped down. She clearly remembered. I should be the last show of the finale. At that time, she was looking at the program list and making sure that no one was reporting the program. I was the last one to sign up. The purpose is to be the finale. Don't let anyone steal your thunder. However, what he didn't expect was, at this moment, there is someone who appears later than me. Let us welcome the last two contestants of this freshman welcome party. The original song performed by Senior Sukan and Senior Chu Youwei, The Wind Rises. It ended with their host's emotional recitation. For a while, the audience were all stunned. Sukan is a celebrity in the school. Mainly because, among Lin Shanshan's many suitors, Sukan is definitely the most sincere one. Many people also think that Sukan and Lin Shanshan are the best match. It's just that Lin Shanshan was reluctant to accept it. And who is Chu Youwei? Not to mention other classmates, even a small number of classmates in the same class as Sukan and Chu Youwei didn't even notice that there was such an unknown girl in the class. And as the curtain of the stage was slowly opened, the moment Chu Youwei, wearing a black dress and long wavy hair, appeared under the spotlight, almost all the teachers and students in the school were shocked. Beautiful. It's so beautiful. No one expected that the person who would appear on the stage at the end would be such a stunning beauty who would astonish the whole audience. She even outshined Lin Shanshan, who had just stepped down from the stage. Lin Shanshan is already a great beauty picked out from among ordinary people. That is Chu Youwei, who is in the spotlight at this moment. She is a peerless beauty with no blind spots in 360 degrees. Just based on this face, it is enough to be so beautiful that it can captivate the whole country and make people bewitched. The other one who was even more surprising and unexpected was Sukan. Sukan is wearing a white suit at this moment. Standing next to Chu Youwei, people didn't feel anything out of place at all. On the contrary, it is very suitable. It seems like the two of them are meant to complement each other and be a match made in heaven. Because Sukan is not bad looking, he is quite handsome. But it is precisely because Sukan is not a super handsome guy, so he has basically no killing power. Instead, it further highlights Chu Youwei's beauty. This makes it seem to others that the two of them are standing under the spotlight at this moment. It's like a natural landscape painting. It is so beautiful that people cannot bear to destroy it. Chapter 11, 502 Inseparable Hands. Fuck goddess. She's so beautiful, how come I've never heard of her name before? Why do I feel like I'm no worse than Goddess Shanshan? Brother, you are still too young. Compared with Goddess Shanshan, the one on the stage is obviously more beautiful. Oh? What do you say, brother? Whether it's temperament, figure, appearance or wealth. While the freshmen were still discussing, Sukan's fingers had already landed on the piano keys. The elegant prelude echoed in the hall, and the voices of discussion gradually faded away. Chu Youwei stood on the stage, her hands holding the microphone trembling slightly. The originally retreating heart disappeared without a trace the moment she turned her head to look at Sukan. Sukan's eyes, full of sunshine and trust, were like a sharp arrow piercing Chu Youwei's heart. As soon as Chu Youwei's voice, which sounded like it was kissed by an angel, sounded, it immediately caused cheers from the audience. We walked and stopped along the way, following the traces of the boy's drift. Listen to Chu Youwei's voice that was kissed by an angel. Even though the hands of the younger students in the audience were already red from clapping, there was no sign of them stopping. I was once unable to extricate myself from the vastness of the world, and was also addicted to the dream talk in it. After the first paragraph, Sukan's unique voice came from the microphone. The younger students in the audience looked at the two people on the stage and were simply astonished by their beauty. At this time, the two's wonderful performances have completely conquered the audience. Why do I feel like these two people are a perfect match? They are simply a match made in heaven. The golden boy and the jade girl is their way to describe them. This song is so good, I want to add it to my playlist and play it on repeat 10,000 times. No more talking, brothers. I now declare that Chu Youwei is the goddess of my dreams. Lin Shanshan clenched her fists tightly in the audience, her nails digging deep into her flesh. Even though blood was already seeping out, Lin Shanshan didn't notice anything. Listening to the discussions of her classmates, Lin Shanshan's eyes turned red and were filled with endless anger. Originally, I should be the one shining brightly. Originally, these applause should belong to me. Originally, all these praises should have belonged to me. Now everything should belong to me. It was actually taken away by a bootlicker and an ugly duckling that came out of nowhere. If Sukan gave this song to himself, you should be the one shining brightly today. Doesn't he know how long he has been preparing for today's performance? Now it's all because of Sukan, it's all because of Chu Youwei. All my efforts were ruined. Thinking of this, Lin Shanshan couldn't stop shaking all over. I finally gave my youth back, along with the summer that popped up on my fingertips. Whatever your heart desires, go with the wind. In the name of love, are you still willing? As the song ended, all the younger students in the audience stood up excitedly. The applause echoed in the hall and did not stop for a long time. Chu Youwei is like a blooming snow-ling flower, showing off her beauty on the stage. One more. One more. The performance was over, but the younger students in the audience were not satisfied. Lin Shanshan's performance at the freshman welcome party was undoubtedly an extremely wonderful performance. But compared with Chu Youwei, her performance at this time was like a clown. This is like an FPS game enthusiast who insists on competing in shooting with a professional soldier. Crush. Apart from these two words, Lin Shanshan couldn't think of any other adjectives. When Lin Shanshan stepped down from the stage, all she received was cheers and flattery from her junior classmates. But Chu Youwei attracted the attention of the whole audience. Listening to the shouts of younger classmates in the audience, Chu Youwei, who was already a little nervous, was suddenly at a loss. Chu Youwei, who was already flustered and at a loss, didn't know what to do next. A warm big hand suddenly held her small hand. Sukan's voice, neither too loud nor too soft, slowly reached Chu Youwei's ears. Don't worry, I'm here. Chu Youwei looked up and saw Sukan's warm smile. The moment she saw Sukan's face, Chu Youwei's panicked heart instantly calmed down. As long as Sukan is here, he will be able to handle everything. It will definitely be taken care of. Sukan stood on the stage, listening to the cheers of his younger classmates below. He had anticipated this before the performance. The Wind Rises is bound to cause a huge sensation. But I didn't expect it to be so popular. Thank you for the love from all my fellow students. But in order to achieve the best performance effect, I did prepare this song. But since you all like our performance so much, I will give you another song today. The song is called Sea of Stars. I hope that all of you can pursue your dreams as freely as the stars and the sea. I want to become a star and protect the buzzing of the seabed. This is my dream and this is my magic. At this time, we are in dormitory 203. Suddenly, a wolf howled, which instantly aroused the dissatisfaction of the other two. Fuck. A man heard the call and came over. Why are you still yelling so late at night? The other party did not answer, but just handed the phone over silently. I took the phone and there was another sound. Fuck. The last person couldn't help but pick up his phone. The three of them stared at each other, then uttered the same words in unison. Fuck, old Su's second son is not a human being. The video of Sukan and Chu Youwei's performance was quickly uploaded to the campus forum. In just over 10 minutes, the forum already had hundreds of messages. Chu Youwei was even known as the most beautiful campus beauty. The first comment is: you can doubt the brain of a licker, but you can't doubt the vision of a licker. Standing downstairs of the dormitory building, Chu Youwei shyly lowered her head and dared not look Sukan in the eye. You did a great job today. Chu Youwei did not respond to Sukan's compliment. Instead, he kept his head down and said nothing. It was not until a minute later that Chu Youwei spoke in a low voice. Hand. Sukan lowered his head and realized that it started with holding hands on the stage. Sukan never let go on their way back to the dormitory from the freshman welcome party. The two people's hands seemed to be stuck to 502 and they never let go. Sukan reacted and quickly let go of his hand. As soon as the little hand loosened, Chu Youwei hurriedly ran towards the dormitory with her head down. Looking at Chu Youwei's back, Sukan couldn't hide the smile on his face. What Sukan didn't notice was that a pair of eyes full of resentment were staring at him not far away. Sukan, dressed in a relaxed manner, walked towards the dormitory with a cheerful pace. Just opened the door of the dormitory. 3 pairs of resentful eyes, like those of a nagging woman, were fixed on Sukan. Oh. Sukan, you deserve to die. As he said this, he put his hands around Sukan's neck, his eyes filled with resentment. It feels like being afraid that your brother is having a hard time, but also afraid that he is driving a Land Rover. Chapter 12, The Dog Buys the Ultimate Skin for the Goddess. Stop, stop, stop. If you keep pinching me, you can have your feast. After hearing Sukan's words, Lu Ji not only did not stop, but he used even more force. Wen Kai looked at Sukan with disdain. You are such a good boy. You are so affectionate on weekdays, but you know a beautiful girl behind my back and don't introduce her to me, right? Liu Ran on the side also nodded, looking like you are not loyal. Sukan broke free from Lu Ji's restraints, sat on the bed and said helplessly. If I say that I didn't know Chu Youwei was so beautiful before, would you believe me? When the three heard Sukan's words, they all shook their heads. To be honest, Sukan really didn't deceive the three people. Before he was reborn, he really didn't know. The beautiful face hidden under the long hair, even before the rebirth, the two of them didn't have much interaction. You have betrayed the revolution. Tell me how you are going to compensate us. Liu Ran nodded. You betrayed the revolution, you must be compensated. Sukan held up a finger and said, I'll pack breakfast for you tomorrow. You want to get rid of us with just one breakfast? It's not enough. 2 meals. Before the three could refuse, Sukan quickly added. The kind that I bring back to you and deliver to your mouth. As soon as the words fell, the three of them knelt on the ground in unison. Foster father, please accept my humble respect. Wen Kai is the boss of the dormitory and is a typical strong man from northeast China. Although he looks rough and untidy, he studies pharmacy and has a girlfriend who he has known since elementary school and has been dating until college. I studied pharmacy just like him. Liu Ran is the third child in the class. His hometown is close to the border, which is a good place to eat mushrooms. The family was originally well off, until one day their whole family had to eat and lie down, and they became poor after receiving treatment for an illness. However, Liu Ran worked hard and was successfully admitted as the second in the school, and received a full scholarship. He is also a master of computer technology, and before his rebirth in his previous life, he was a senior executive of Penguin. As for Lu Ji, there is basically no need to introduce him. He is a lively, wealthy local who works as a lawyer. He inherited tens of millions of dollars after graduation. Unlike other dormitories, after graduation the four of them not only kept in touch frequently, but also became as close as brothers. Just as the four of them were playing, a clear and pleasant voice rang out. Any man would be very familiar with this voice. This is the sound of being matched with teammates in League of Legends. When the three heard the voice, they rushed to their computer and clicked to accept. Sukan was lying on the bed, thinking about what to do next. Although I knew in my heart that in 2 months, the 5 million would be firmly in my pocket. But the fluttering of a butterfly's wings can trigger a tornado on the other side of the blue planet. Sukan didn't dare to guarantee that his wings would flap when he was reborn. Whether it will cause changes in the world, besides, he can't just do nothing in the past 2 months. Just as Sukan was thinking. Bang! A loud noise brought Sukan back from his thoughts. Lu Ji was seen staring at the screen, constantly greeting his teammates and their families. The fragrance fills the mouth, and the whole dormitory is filled with the chirping of birds and the fragrance of flowers. This lad has never seen a woman in his life, right? If you work as a bootlicker for too long, your brain will be licked by the dog too. Not only did he steal my mid laner, but he also gave away so many points. Who else should I blame but him? Wen Kai patted Lu Ji's arm gently. Facing Wen Kai's reminder, Lu Ji not only had no consciousness, but the fragrance from his mouth became even stronger. He didn't even know if the person opposite him was a woman. If you lick like this, you don't have to worry about licking the skin with your tongue. I don't think he'll be able to eat 5 dishes in his lifetime. You even bought the ultimate skin for the girl and used the original skin yourself. Are you showing off? The licker will not die well. In fact, Lu Ji was also furious. His support in the bottom lane was killing people indiscriminately, and the jungler gave away a triple kill every time. After 5 times, the bottom lane completely collapsed. This is still the Diamond 1 promotion match, so it's no wonder that Lu Ji's defense was broken. After spraying Lu Ji, he finally felt much better. But the dormitory, which was originally full of joy, was now extremely quiet. Wen Kai covered his eyes and looked like he didn't dare to look. Liu Ran even lay on the table with his eyes closed. Only Lu Ji realized it later and looked as if something had happened. What's wrong, boss? Why don't you speak? Wang Kai looked at Lu Ji speechlessly. Did he dare to speak? You should know that the biggest bootlicker in the school is lying on the bed next to you. It feels good to call people bootlickers, but the problem is that you are covering the whole range. Suddenly Lu Ji remembered something, his body stiffened and he looked at Sukan. At this time, Sukan had a smile on his face and his eyes were almost shining. Lu Ji's few words instantly helped him find the direction. And looking at Sukan's crazy look with a hint of excitement. However, Lu Ji thought that his words had irritated Sukan, and his body couldn't help but tremble. Lao Su, second brother, I didn't mean it. You have to believe me. Sukan stood up and walked to Lu Ji, patting Lu Ji's shoulder gently. No need to say, guys understand. From now on, Lin Shanshan has nothing to do with me, and I will not pursue her anymore. The liquor will not die well. For a moment, the three of them were stunned where they were. I couldn't even believe what I heard. Wang Kai stood up, touched Sukan's forehead, and then spoke to himself. I don't have a fever. Regarding Sukan's pursuit of Lin Shanshan, all three of them raised objections, and Lu Ji even told Sukan directly that Lin Shanshan was just trying to hook up with rich men. But at that time, Sukan didn't believe it at all. He even had a big fight with Lu Ji because of this matter. In the end, the three of them had no choice but to acquiesce to this matter. The word, suck up, has become a taboo in the dormitory. Sukan knocked Wang Kai's hand away. I don't have a fever. I just figured it out that someone who loves you won't take pleasure in hurting you. I will never ask for it in the name of love. Lin Shanshan just treated me as an ATM. Besides, Sukan didn't say anything else, but for some reason Chu Youwei's figure flashed before his eyes. Lu Ji walked up to Sukan with a wicked smile on his face. What are you talking about, old Sutilder? Are you attracted to Chu Youwei? I tell you, Chu Youwei is definitely a good girl. You two have been desk mates for so long, and she is the one who cares about you the most in the whole school. Wang Kai and Liu Ran also nodded. Chu Youwei is a little unknown in school, but these three people know her very well. Because Chu Youwei often sent messages to the three of them, asking about Sukan's situation. He would also inform the three of Sukan's situation in the classroom from time to time. Over time, the four of them became familiar with each other. But the three of them never expected that Chu Youwei would hide her face with her head down. It turned out to be such an angelic face. Sukan shook his head. No. Women will only affect the speed at which I make money. A wise man does not fall in love. Hearing Sukan's answer, the three of them looked at Sukan with disdain. They made a series of tsk sounds from their mouths, then sat back on the stool with a bored look on their faces. But Sukan smiled slightly. The three of them pricked up their ears when they heard it. Just when everyone thought they were going to hear shocking gossip, Sukan suddenly shut up. Wang Kai and Liu Ran are okay, neither of them is impulsive. But Lu Ji couldn't bear it, so he rushed to Sukan and looked at him with a sly smile on his face. Have you ever heard of a story where someone got stabbed in the ass for saying something? Chapter 13 to get your attention. Sukan's butt suddenly tightened. He knew Lu Ji's character. Maybe I could really do something like this at night, he said hurriedly. Here is a profitable business, I wonder if you three are interested. When the word making money was mentioned, the three people present were no longer sleepy. Liu Ran's family was not very wealthy to begin with, and now they still owe money to the hospital. I work and study on weekdays. Although the full bonus is enough for him to live on, who doesn't want to earn more? The same goes for Wang Kai, his family is not a burden. But dating itself is an expensive thing. As for Lu Ji, no one would complain that they have too little money. However, Lu Ji is more interested in experiencing the joy of making money. Godfather, is there anything I can help you with? As long as I can make money, I will do it even if you ask me to go to the toilet to eat. I didn't even blink. Lu Ji looked at Sukan with a solemn oath. Take a bite now and I'll give you 100. Wang Kai coughed twice and slowly raised his hand. Add me in. Liu Ran, actually, I can afford $100. Lu Ji looked at the three people and fell to the ground in an instant. I made the wrong friends. You are really living beasts, woo-woo, there is no way you can survive. Looking at Lu Ji's funny look, the three of them smiled at each other. After living for 40 years, Sukan has long lost his former youthful ambition and vigor. But as the body becomes younger, the former vitality seems to return to this body. Sukan's way of making money was the inspiration he found from the singing of birds and the fragrance of flowers that Liu Ji had just seen. 2013 was the year when League of Legends was at its peak. In the next 5 years, League of Legends will be on the rise. Until IG won the championship and fulfilled the dream of a generation. League of Legends has also begun to decline, but now which male college student's computer is without League of Legends? As for the business that Sukan wanted to do, it was the dog-licking economy. Before 2023, the economy will be dominated by women. Most of the time, it's men who spend money on women until the dog-licking economy ends. Men are beginning to think more about themselves. Live for yourself and spend money for yourself. It seems that games have been labeled as masculine since their inception. Female gamers have always been a minority. Whenever a female player appears, there are always countless bootlickers behind her who are willing to pay for her. Just like the game in the previous sentence, boys are willing to buy girls' ultimate skins while boys only have their original skins. You should know that the current price of an ultimate skin is 199. Nowadays, the monthly living expenses for male college students is only 700 yuan. And there are many boys who are willing to spend money on female players. Sometimes you even find out. As soon as a woman appears in the game, for people all become her bootlickers. The industry that Sukan thought of was playing with others. The real popularity of playing games with others was during the epidemic. Everyone is stuck at home and unable to go out. The original social moment was compressed, and the accounts of my former comrades in arms never lit up again. Playing games with others has become an extremely popular industry. A sweet little sister not only knows how to compliment you, but can also take you flying sometimes. Which man can resist a sweet and sticky female player who can play games? Sukan's somewhat obscene smile instantly made the three of them alert. Ahem, Lao Su, although we want to make money. But I will never sell my body. Liu Ji protected his body tightly. How could he, a college student, not know anything? Liu Ran's face turned pale in an instant. My second brother wouldn't want to sell himself to a rich woman, right? Thinking of the steel wool, Liu Ran felt his whole body tremble. Even if the other party offers 1 million, 5 million, or 10 million, it seems that it is not impossible to consider. Sukan looked at Liu Ji with disdain. Just you? I don't want it even if it's given to me for free. Liu Ji's defense was instantly broken by this sentence. Although he was rich, his appearance was indeed difficult to evaluate. In fact, Liu Ji is not short and his face is pretty. But unfortunately, his face was covered with acne, which made the originally handsome Liu Ji isolated from the opposite sex. After a while of fighting, Sukan straightened himself up. You guys also saw the game just now. As long as there is a female player, there will be bootlickers. They are willing to give their entire fortune for the goddess. The three of them were confused. A bootlicker is willing to spend money on a goddess. But what does this have to do with them? They can't just go to Thailand for a trip. If Lao Lu had a girl with a sweet voice. He has good skills and listens to you in the game. It only costs $25 to play a game with you. Are you willing? Yes, it's only $25. If there really is such a girl, $51 is fine. Liu Ji answered without hesitation. 25 yuan. This was the price Sukan decided after careful consideration. Of course, it will also be adjusted based on the girl's skills and popularity. The average salary in 2013 was around 3,400 yuan. After deducting rent and food, there is probably about 800 yuan left. That is to say, for 25 yuan, you can find someone to play with, and you can play about 30 sentences. 25 is a price that seems unacceptable, but it is a price that can be hovered around. For college students, it is a bit painful but not unacceptable. Sukan is confident that as long as he lets these bootlickers experience it once, he will make them deeply addicted and unable to extricate themselves. So what we have to do is play along. Liu Ji was stunned at first, but soon understood what Sukan meant. $25 a sentence, and we provide the platform. A $5 handling fee is charged for the $25 bill. One person may not be much, but what about 10, 100, or 1,000 people? What's more, we are not doing a one-time business. Repeat purchases are the real source of our profits. After we do it, There will always be some people who think that pretty and sweet girls are more popular, and there will always be people who are willing to pay more money to play with their favorite girls. After hearing Sukan's description of the prospects, the three people's eyes lit up. But suddenly Wang Kai's words made the remaining two people fall into silence. But we are men. Yes. They are men. Although there are games that target girls, there aren't many problems with them. And they didn't know each other. All things are difficult at the beginning, and the truth is revealed at this moment. Sukan just smiled slightly and then whispered to the three of them. After hearing Sukan's words, the three of them turned pale and waved their hands. Lu Ji even covered her anus and looked at Sukan with a vigilant look. Inside the girls' dormitory, Lin Shanshan looked at the discussion in the school forum, and a hint of hatred flashed in her eyes. Suddenly, the roommate next to him suddenly said, "Shanshan, Sukan has really put a lot of effort into getting your attention." Hearing her roommate's words, Lin Shanshan was suddenly stunned. Sukan wanted to attract his attention? Everyone knows that Sukan likes you. I think he approached Chu Youwei just to get your attention. Chapter 14, I play games with my brother, won't your girlfriend be jealous? Think about it, since college, everyone knows that Sukan is your dog. Even if you fart on a normal day, he wants to know what it smells like. When a dog dies at home, it takes a while for people to feel sad. Not to mention liking someone. How is it possible for me to suddenly not like you? Sukan and Chu Youwei have been desk mates for about a year. If Sukan really liked Chu Youwei, he would have pursued her a year ago. In my opinion, Sukan just wants to get your attention. As long as you give him a pinky signal, the dog will come over wagging its tail again. The reason you're doing this now is simply because you were too cold to him before. Think about playing scratch tickets, where you occasionally get $10 or $5 for a thrill. Sukan took the initiative to approach Chu Youwei just to provoke you. When you turn around, Sukan will definitely kick Chu Youwei away without hesitation. No matter how hard the ugly duckling tries, it can never become a white swan. This is reality, not a fairy tale, nor a novel. After listening to my roommate's analysis, Lin Shanshan, who was originally a little annoyed, suddenly brightened up. After a good beating, I was rewarded with a sweet date. It seems that I had gone too far before. In fact, there is no shortage of fish in Lin Shanshan's fish pond. But a fish suddenly jumped out of the pond and slapped her. Lin Shanshan became unhappy instantly. Thinking of this, Lin Shanshan couldn't help but smile. Unless Sukan kneels down in front of me and slaps himself twice. Take the initiative to break off relations with Chu Youwei, otherwise I will never forgive him. Lin Shanshan already had a perfect plan in her mind. That is to first hold the rope of Sukan, the dog licker, in your hand. Give them sweet dates when they are happiest. Kick him away. Compared to that time, Sukan's face must be very beautiful. Thinking of this, Lin Shanshan had already started laughing. If Sukan heard the conversation between the two people, he would definitely give them a thumbs up. The previous comment, Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick. Male dormitory. The three of them stared at Sukan. He looked as if he was ready to die, as if saying, if you don't give us an explanation. The worst that can happen today is that we all die together. They never expected that Sukan would come up with such a bad idea. Looking at the looks of the three people, Sukan felt a little guilty and coughed twice. I don't know if you've ever heard this sentence. A man has gold under his knees, and he should exchange it when he can. 21 games, 8 games a day is 160 a day. Boss, didn't your girlfriend say yesterday that she liked a new bag? It only takes 10 days for you to get it. Third brother, I remember my uncle is still at the construction site. Just think about his hands which have already peeled off. Think about my aunt going up the mountain to pick mushrooms every day. Fourth brother, although you are not short of money, you don't want to always ask your parents for money. Wait until their companion gaming platform is online. Let's divide the shares equally. Just think about it, as long as there is a game, you can get $1.25. What about 10 games, 20 games, 100 games, or 10,000 games? This is all money. The eldest brother was silent, the third brother was silent, and only Lu Ji looked at Sukan with a vigilant look. Why do I feel like you are fooling us? Facing Lu Ji's questioning, Sukan's heart didn't beat fast and his face didn't blush. You know, Penguin. The three of them nodded. How could they not know about Penguin? Today, that netizen's life can be without penguins. When Penguin first started, Ma Huateng was the boss of Penguin. She even pretended to be a girl and chatted with the otaku. Ma Huateng can do it. Why can't we do it? The three of them were stunned and couldn't believe what Sukan said. Penguin boss Ma Huateng actually pretends to be a girl on the internet, seducing innocent male netizens. Holy shit, this is such a shocking piece of news. For a moment, Sukan's proposal seemed acceptable to them. What to do if there are no girls? What to do if the girl's skills are not good enough? Sukan's solution was also very simple. The internet is something that cannot be touched or seen, as long as their voice is female and sweet enough. Who knows what is behind the screen, or who cares? There were no voice changers in 2013. But a voice changer is not a difficult thing. With Liu Ran's skills, it only takes 2 days to make an initial version. It only needs a little debugging before it can be put into use. Netizens in 2013 did not have a strong awareness of fraud prevention as netizens in later generations. As for men dressing up as women, most netizens have never heard of it. In today's world of netizens, words may be deceiving. But their voice can't be fake. You say this is a scam. Sukan smiled and waved his finger. I just want to strengthen the anti-fraud awareness of the majority of netizens in advance. I recalled the expectant look on my girlfriend's face when she looked at the bag. Wang Kai coughed twice and said, I think it's not impossible. Anyway, those bootlickers have to give out money. This is for those netizens who don't know the difference between men and women and try to cheat others. Why not give it to us? Wang Kai was moved since his girlfriend was with him. He never makes any excessive demands and just takes a look at the bag before leaving. After we got together, it was my girlfriend who gave me more gifts. As a student, Wang Kai doesn't have much money, but now he has an opportunity to make money. Wang Kai didn't want to give up the opportunity to give his girlfriend a surprise. Liu Ran is the same. He earns money to make his family better. I went out to work every day distributing flyers and working as a slave for other software companies. It's all work anyway, so why can't I give it a try? At least there's a glimmer of hope, right? Liu Ran could never forget what Sukan said. It is useless to endure hardship. It will only make you more miserable. Although the pie Sukan painted was a bit too big for them to finish for now, there would always be a day when they could finish it. In an instant, the pressure came on Liu Ji. The three eyes that were originally staring at Sukan instantly fell on Liu Ji. In fact, when Sukan talked about using a voice changer to deceive innocent netizens, Liu Ji was already moved, not because of the money. It's purely a hobby. Yes, it's a hobby, he's definitely not abnormal. You three have made up your mind, so how can I escape from the battle? But we have to have a plan. The third brother is in charge of software development, and first of all, the voice changer must be developed. I am responsible for publicity. The eldest and the fourth brother, as well as the younger sisters, are left to you two. Our dormitory is not the only one that is short of money. Try to find some with good skills and sweet words. I will give you a manuscript when the time comes. There will be a special dialogue on how to chat with the other party. For example, brother, your girlfriend won't be jealous if we play games together, right? Your girlfriend is only jealous, unlike me who only feels sorry for my brother Tilder. Brother, do you miss me? For some players with special hobbies, we can also use another set of words. For example, I will scold you, if you don't play well I will scold your brother. Chapter 15, Go to the hospital for treatment. I can help you with some money. Chu Youwei's face turned red and her head was buried in the quilt. Turn on the phone screen and click into Sukan's space. In an instant, the happy smile froze on his face. The space is still filled with everything related to Lin Shanshan. Thinking back to everything that happened today, a smile flashed across Chu Youwei's lips again. Maybe everything that happened today was an illusion. But just that one day was enough to make her happy for a long time and remember it for the rest of her life. In fact, what Chu Youwei didn't know was that Sukan, who once transmitted emotions into the space, had already disappeared in the world. The chat still remains on the space, and it's just that Sukan has forgotten about it. Most people in later generations have given up on Penguin, and more people choose WeChat. As for the space, Sukan didn't know how many years it had been since he opened it. However, Sukan didn't expect that his carelessness would cause a big misunderstanding. Chu Youwei was about to send a message after clicking on Sukan's profile picture. But he was brought back to reality by a few harsh sounds. I am dying of laughter, and she is a new goddess. Chu Youwei doesn't really think that she can become a goddess just by putting on some makeup and wearing some clothes. But I don't even know where she got the money to buy clothes. It must be Sukan, the lickspittle, who took action again. Sukan really tried every possible way to stimulate Shan Shan. Chu Youwei doesn't really think that Sukan likes her, does he? Sukan has been chasing Shan Shan for a year. Except for Chinese New Year, he follows Shan Shan around like a dog for 365 days a year. If you change your mind in one day, who would believe you if you told others about it? Chu Youwei is just a tool used by Sukan to take revenge on Shan Shan. Just throw it away after use. Chu Youwei is not enjoying this. I am dying of laughter. Listening to the harsh voice of my roommate. Tears as big as beans slowly flowed out of his eyes. No way. Sukan is not that kind of person. Did Sukan really just treat me as a tool when he approached me? Chu Youwei curled up in the quilt, not daring to make even the slightest sound. The tears dripping on the quilt made no sound. Just like Chu Youwei at this moment. Still so self-abased, still so humble to the core. Lin Shanshan looked at the quilt on the bed where Chu Youwei was sobbing, smiled slightly, and walked out of Chu Youwei's dormitory quietly. Everything the three gossips said was arranged by Lin Shanshan. Otherwise, how can we control the fish in the pond? She wants to do more than just take revenge on Sukan. Since Chu Youwei has stolen my limelight, she should be prepared for my revenge. Sukan took out his old cell phone. Although it is still a button, fortunately it can open the penguin. Clicking on Chu Youwei's profile picture, it shows that she is online. Sukan hesitated for a long time, edited the text and clicked send with excitement. I didn't mean to hold your hand today. The message was sent, but it fell on deaf ears, without any excitement or ripples. Sukan looked at the online prompt, finally sighed and turned off his phone. Sukan thought that Chu Youwei was angry and ignored him. In fact, Chu Youwei was curled up in the quilt. I cried until I felt weak all over, and then slowly fell asleep. The moon slowly sets and the sun shines on the earth. Chu Youwei slowly opened her eyes. I cried all night and fell asleep while crying. Chu Youwei, you are so fragile. When Chu Youwei turned on her phone, she found that it was out of battery and turned off. Take out the charging cable and charge your phone. He put on his old clothes, covered his face with his hair, and walked slowly towards the cafeteria with his head lowered. Today will be like before. Every day, I could only talk to Sukan during meals and classes. Everything that happened yesterday was just a dream after all. Chu Youwei had just walked out of the dormitory door when a familiar and slightly angry voice slowly sounded in her ears. Chu Youwei. Chu Youwei raised her head and saw Sukan standing in front of her, looking at her. Didn't I tell you yesterday that you shouldn't wear these clothes anymore? Hold your head and chest high and push your hair aside. You are beautiful, don't doubt yourself. Sukan. Chu Youwei lowered her head and refused to speak. Sukan immediately noticed something was wrong with Chu Youwei. Before they separated yesterday, Chu Youwei was still in a good mood. I arrived downstairs at the dormitory early this morning. What happened during my absence? There is no need to think about what happened, it must be related to Chu Youwei's stupid roommates. Sukan thought it through, even if Chu Youwei didn't want to. He also wanted Chu Youwei to change dormitories, otherwise Chu Youwei would definitely be influenced by those three idiots. Lin Shanshan woke up in a good mood today. I heard from Chu Youwei's roommate that Chu Youwei sobbed in her quilt all night yesterday. Wear a pretty dress and put on exquisite makeup. At this moment, Lin Shanshan was like a cute, weak little girl who needed protection. It seemed as if the vicious things that happened last night had nothing to do with her at all. Walking out of the dormitory, Lin Shanshan spotted Sukan at a glance. After being enlightened by her roommates, Lin Shanshan has come to terms with it. It is not possible to make a dog wag its tail happily without feeding it dog food. Lin Shanshan walked briskly to Sukan. She stretched out her hand and handed it to Sukan like an elegant princess. Sukan, I forgive you, let's go. I know you contacted Chu Youwei just to get my attention. I have to admit, you succeeded. As long as you promise me that you will never contact Chu Youwei again, I'll consider being your girlfriend. After saying these words, the corners of Lin Shanshan's mouth turned up. It seemed that victory was just around the corner, and Chu Youwei was just a clown in her eyes. She had already prepared everything, and let Sukan, the dog, hold her delicate hand. In order to experience the pleasure of revenge, what's wrong with letting the dog lick you a little? Seeing this scene, the surrounding area was instantly surrounded by a crowd. Victory seemed to be just around the corner, and Lin Shanshan's lips were almost curled up with a smile. Sukan stood there, looking at Lin Shanshan's stupid look. I just felt the embarrassment of tapping my toes on the floor. I still can't change my habit of embarrassing myself on behalf of others. Chu Youwei couldn't help but tremble. She was ready to be abandoned by Sukan. Just when everyone gathered together to watch the show, Sukan slowly opened his mouth. Stupid. Lin Shanshan. Chu Youwei raised her head and looked at Sukan, her eyes full of disbelief. The classmates who were watching around. 3 question marks appeared on everyone's forehead. Lin Shanshan even thought she had heard it wrong. Everyone knows that Sukan is her dog, but now the dog is actually biting his master. Sukan? I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down and apologize to me, or I will never forgive you. Sukan looked at Lin Shanshan as if he was looking at a big idiot. You are an idiot, no one can make me kneel except my father and mother. If you have a brain disease, go to their hospital. If you go to their hospital and you don't have enough money, you will be mentally ill. I can still help you a little in this regard. Chapter 16, Lu Ji's Lottery Operation. Suchan. How dare you speak to me like that? Lin Shanshan's wide-open eyes were filled with bloodshot, as if bloodthirsty worms were wriggling in her eyes. Sukan chuckled. I thought you were mentally ill, but it turns out you're deaf too. If you have any problem, go to their hospital. I am not a doctor or a garbage station that collects all kinds of garbage. After saying that, Sukan took Chu Youwei's hand and disappeared into the crowd. Only Lin Shanshan, helpless and furious, was left standing there. The two of them walked hand in hand for a long time until Chu Youwei stopped. I don't deserve you. Go back now and apologize to Lin Shanshan, she will forgive you. After saying this, Chu Youwei's eyes turned red. Hearing Chu Youwei's words, Sukan gently tapped Chu Youwei's forehead. You forgot what I said yesterday. From now on, Lin Shanshan and I will just be classmates, and I will not have any contact with her anymore. But, space. Sukan was stunned for a moment, then opened his phone and clicked on space. Oh shit. The moment he opened his own space, Sukan felt like ants were crawling all over his body. The first post said, I will love Shan for my whole life. For Shan, I will always be your loyal dog. The second one said, I love you more than I ever imagined, more than I can express, more than anything in the world. Day 3, I will do anything for you because you are everything to me. The two of them sat on the bench like this, and an hour later Sukan finally breathed a sigh of relief. It took me more than an hour to finally delete all these disgusting things. These dark histories must not be left behind. The thought of becoming a billionaire many years later. Some people took these statements of their own and read them in front of countless wealthy people. I will love Shan for my whole life, for Shan, I will always be your loyal dog. Sukan felt goosebumps all over his body. I sent you a message yesterday, why didn't you reply to me? Chu Youwei was stunned for a moment, then said blankly, Did you send me a message yesterday? Sukan nodded. Chu Youwei hurriedly searched for her cell phone. Finally I remembered that my cell phone was out of battery and was charging in the dormitory. I'm sorry. Chu Youwei lowered her head and said in a low voice. Unlike other girls, she suffered a lot in her childhood. It did not make Chu Youwei develop a cowardly character. On the contrary, he is stronger, just a little introverted. It can be seen from the fact that Chu Youwei still refuses to accept a penny from her father. I don't know why, but in front of Sukan, Chu Youwei always feels like she has become a crybaby. When I think of everything related to Sukan, I become cowardly. Maybe this is why the more you like something, the more you fear losing it. Let's go. Chu Youwei glanced at Sukan. If you don't go now, you'll be late. Today is Lao Luo's class. The two of them stood up and ran quickly towards the classroom. Shanshan, don't cry, it's just Sukan. He is just a poor, shabby boy. I do this just to humiliate and disgust you. He knows he can't win your heart, so he wants to embarrass you. Yer Weiwei, there's no need to feel sad for such a bootlicker. But Senior Zhang said that as long as you are willing to be his girlfriend, he is willing to buy you a mini. Listening to her roommate's advice, Lin Shanshan's already irritable mood instantly became even more irritable. She really didn't like Sukan, and Sukan was even a little annoying among those former bootlickers. But these past 2 days, Sukan seemed to be engraved in her mind. No matter what, she lingers. When she heard about Xenia Zhang, Lin Shanshan became even more annoyed. If Zhang Shuachang really marries her, it would be nice for me to be a rich wife after marriage. But everyone knows that Xenia Zhang is engaged. If I accept it, wouldn't I be a mistress? Mini is still the mistress' favorite car. Thinking of this, and recalling the humiliation she received this morning, Lin Shanshan exploded instantly. Get out! Everyone, get out! Leave me alone! The 3 roommates looked at each other and walked out in unison. As soon as I walked out, 3 voices echoed in the stairwell. Lin Shanshan really thinks of herself as a goddess. That's right, I don't know why Sukan was so blind to fall in love with her. You just have a pretty face, you really think you're a princess. She doesn't wash her socks and throws her sanitary napkins around. If Xenia Zhang didn't give us money, who would play with her? We just don't know how to put on makeup. If we knew how to put on makeup, we would have looked better than her a long time ago. Chu Youwei looks better than her even with makeup on. She doesn't really think she's that beautiful. Lin Shanshan's dormitory perfectly demonstrates what it means to have 4 people forming 12 groups. The bell rang, and teacher Luo picked up the textbook and spoke to the class monitor. Okay, get out of class is over. Don't forget to mark Lin Shanshan and the others as absent. The monitor nodded seriously. It is not accurate to say that Mr. Luo is Professor Luo, the most serious and authoritative teacher in the entire school. You can even skip the principal's class, but you must never skip teacher Luo's class. Because he really cares. In Mr. Luo's view, teaching is a sacred profession and university is a sacred place. Everyone should be responsible for themselves. If you skip classes too much, you really won't be able to graduate. What happened in the morning made Lin Shanshan and the others forget that today's class was actually taught by teacher Luo. The names of the 4 people were written down in the small notebook. Can I really? Certainly. Sukan asked Chu Youwei to find some girls playing games in the girls' dormitory. We can't really let our brothers dress up as women all the time. When the day comes when the bomb explodes, it will be all over. Chu Youwei felt a little scared at the thought of dealing with so many people. But when she thought that it was Sukan's request, Chu Youwei clenched her fists and an unquenchable flame ignited in her heart. Okay, I'll go back and ask. After sending Chu Youwei downstairs, Sukan walked towards the dormitory. Pushing open the dormitory door, Sukan was about to speak. Wang Kai covered his mouth and made a gesture to keep quiet. Just look at Lu Ji sitting in front of the computer, his whole body pinching his throat. Wow! Bro has captured Karthus again. Brother, you are so awesome. Brother, your girlfriend won't be jealous when we play games together, right? Your girlfriend is just jealous, unlike me who only feels sorry for my brother Tilder. When the person on the other side heard Lu Ji's voice, he felt his whole body go numb. Sister Core, you are joking, how could I have a girlfriend? But Sister Core, are you willing to be my brother's girlfriend? As long as you are willing to be my girlfriend, I will place 100 orders today. I am restoring your skin. Oh, that's annoying, brother. How can you ask someone this question directly? Looking at Lu Ji's height that amazed the whole audience, Sukan felt a chill all over his body. Looking at Lu Ji's performance, he really began to doubt Lu Ji's interests and hobbies at this time. Chapter 17. You know me. One sentence and the game is over. The opponent was like Tom, who was easily controlled by Lu Ji. Lu Ji threw down his headphones easily, a hint of pride appearing on his face. Fuck. Lao Lu, you are so awesome. You're literally my hero. Wang Kai and Liu Ran hugged each other, they succeeded. After a day and night of hard work, Liu Ran only took 1 day. They successfully developed a voice changer, as well as a game-playing interface and a trading system. With the ideas given by Sukan, all we need to do is improve the functions. And there are already many perfect functions on the market. All he had to do was integrate. This is why the speed is so fast. After their voice changer was made, the 3 of them couldn't wait to experiment with it. Finally, the 3 decided to look for the first victim from the school forum. After the post was published, it went viral instantly. Then the first unlucky guy paid the money. Then came the wonderful scene that Sukan saw when he returned to the dormitory. Sukan rubbed his head and sat on the bed, absorbing the information that the three people had just conveyed. In just one day, your platform is online. The first victim, isn't he a customer, but a classmate from school? Third brother, show me the website. Sitting in front of the computer, Liu Ran opened the web page. Compared with the time before his rebirth, the web pages Liu Ran made at this time looked so simple. However, compared with the current websites, it is already very good. Sukan pointed out several areas that needed to be modified. The three of them were gathered together in a very formal manner. Since we have decided to start a business, we need to have a clear plan. I don't want our relationship to be affected by a platform or money. Hearing Sukan's words, the other three looked at each other. Lu Ji, you know me. I don't like money, I just want to be happy. Wang Kai, you know me well. I would rather give up the money than betray my brothers. Liu Ran, you know me well. My grandma was poisoned by 89 mushrooms. Originally, my family didn't need to owe any money, but in order to save her life, my family owed 200,000 yuan. Looking at the serious expressions of the three people, Sukan raised a smile. In the field of game companionship, we are currently engaged in an exclusive business. Our business will be good at the beginning, but once other capital comes in, it will be hard to say. Therefore, we must provide the best service. Next, I will talk about job assignments. Third brother, you are responsible for all technical matters. I will teach you how to do each step in the operation and expansion of the boss company, and you will execute it. The publicity and personnel management are now left to you. Sukan had already made a decision in his heart regarding the allocation of positions. The technical requirements for playing with others are not high. Now Liu Ran is capable of supporting the entire mountain gate. When the need for expansion came, Liu Ran had already stepped onto higher peaks by accompanying his friends. The companion gaming platform was just the beginning of Sukan's journey. Once the Bitcoin arrives and Sukan has enough funds, he will no longer be restricted in what he does like he is now. In other words, the gaming companionship platforms will eventually have to be handed over. And Wang Kai is a reliable choice. He is calm and reliable, the only thing is that he is a little soft-hearted. So Sukan handed over personnel management to Lu Ji, as the second generation of capital. Lu Ji is very kind to his brothers, but he is ruthless when it comes to layoffs and other things. This is also to give Wang Kai some time to adapt. If Wang Kai cannot adapt to the cruelty of the workplace, he will be eliminated sooner or later. Sukan knew very well that those rumors on the internet were just to encourage Neomar to work harder. Can you get a good life by working hard? Compared to those managers with big bellies sitting in their offices and harassing their subordinates, aren't migrant workers working hard enough? This is just a consolation to them. The only way is to become a cold machine and find every loophole to exploit. Exploit every employee until they give their last blood for the company. This way they can drive Mercedes-Benz Land Rover and buy brand new Rolls-Royce Bentley planes. Reality is always bloody. As for the shares, each of us will hold 25%. If there is anything, we can discuss it together. If there is a difference of opinion, the minority swoops down on the majority. After Sukan said this, he realized that he was digging a hole for himself. If a company wants to move forward, then it has absolute say. The force of a punch hitting a certain place. This is the inevitable result of success. But looking at the three inexperienced brothers in front of him, the words got stuck in his throat and he couldn't say anything. If he lost his money, he had countless ways to start over. But if a brother is gone, he is really gone. Wang Kai looked at Lu Ji and then at Liu Ran. The three nodded to each other. I want 10%. I want 5%. I want 5%. Sukan was stunned for a moment. Before Sukan could say anything, Lu Ji beside him spoke first. Old Su, we understand you. You don't have to refuse. This is what we discussed after you left. The third brother is short of money, and he is the technical support of the company. So give him 10%. To put it bluntly, the boss and I are both dispensable people. This 5% is already thanks to you. But we also have requirements. As the company grows bigger, it will definitely raise funds, so we require that the shares of the three of us will not be diluted during the financing. In other words, this 20% stake will belong to us forever. Sukan looked at the three people, and the three people looked at Sukan again. Finally, the four of them lay on the bed and laughed together. Old Su, the three of us officially declare to you that the voting rights of our 3 shares will be handed over to you forever. After hearing Lu Ji's words, Sukan was completely stunned. It has been a long time since I last felt such pure emotion. Sukan knew that this idea must have been proposed by Lu Ji again. In other words, even if he eventually diluted his shares to 10%. As long as you have this 30% voting rights. When diluting shares, certain restrictions are imposed. Then this company will always be your own. In fact, when the relationship between the 4 people reached a certain point, Lu Ji proposed to lend 300,000 yuan to the third brother to fill the hole in the family first. But Liu Ran refused. The reason is very simple, that is, he doesn't want money to affect the relationship between the 4 of them. Sukan said seriously, "Brothers, don't worry, I will never let you down. I don't know if you believe me or not. Lu Ji, you are talking nonsense, who would give you the shares if I don't trust you? Wang Kai, what do you think, Lao Su? Liu Ran, I believe your second brother. Okay, then let me take you to see the highest star in the world." Just when the 4 of them were in high spirits, there was a knock on the dormitory door, and the most famous rich second generation on the same floor walked in with 4 red envelopes. "Hey guys, I found a girlfriend in the league. I will give everyone a red envelope so that everyone can share in my happiness." Sukan subconsciously asked, "Lao Yarn, where did you meet this girl? What's her name?" Old Yarn scratched his head shyly. "I met her on the school forum, on a game companion platform. Her name is Sister Kua." In an instant, everyone in dormitory 203 was petrified. Chapter 18 Chu Xiao, a dog has set his eyes on my daughter. Looking at the 3 quiet people, Lao Yarn instantly became anxious. Why aren't you for talking? Could it be that he saw his brother was no longer single and was jealous that he had found a girlfriend? Sukan hurried forward. "Old Yarn, what you said is just that your girlfriend came too suddenly. No one could recover for a while. Have you asked the other person what city he is in, his name and what he looks like? It's not that my brother doesn't want to punish you, but just now Lu Ji was cheated out of 500 yuan online. I'm afraid you might get cheated by accident." Hearing Sukan's words, Old Yarn's face instantly broke into a smile as bright as a chrysanthemum. "Poochie, ha 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 ha, I didn't expect that our brother Lu would be deceived. Don't worry, brother. No matter who gets cheated, I will never be cheated." The post was sent from our campus network. In other words, the other person must be a girl from our school, and I will accept her even if she is not pretty. You don't know, Kuer's voice is so beautiful. Deal with it after Lao Yarn leaves. The 4 people in the dormitory stared at each other. What now? I can't tell Yang how that his girlfriend is Lu Ji. What were you thinking? The first hand you reached out to was our own family. Are you really not afraid of being beaten up after being discovered? Lu Ji's face flushed. They never expected that the first victim would show up so soon. At first they just wanted to experiment with the voice changer and the gaming companionship platform. After all, it is easier to find victims in one's own school. The 3 of them didn't think too much about it and directly posted the advertisement on the campus network. Sukan sighed, "Okay, Lao Sai, don't log into this account anymore. Change the signal and the sound will also change. As for Lao Yan, if he can't fight, I'll introduce him to a girlfriend when the time comes." However, after this battle, the 4 of them also saw the prospects of the companion gaming platform. In this dormitory building, Lao Yan can indeed be considered a rich second generation. But if you look at the whole school, Lao Yan can't even get a ranking. Just one word about the game can make Lao Yan obsessed, since it is useful to Lao Yan. The same goes for others as well. After deciding on the division of labor, the eldest and the 4th brother quickly started posting frantically on the forums of major universities in Shanghai. As for why it is Shanghai, it is naturally because of the money. What Shanghai lacks the most is, of course, the second generation of rich people. In order to improve the experience of the second generation rich young men in Shanghai, the price has been increased from 25 per game to 75 per game. After all, the price must be worthy of the status of a rich young master. Chu Xiao held Sukan's information, his eyes filled with anger. He originally thought that his daughter had forgiven him, which was why he was willing to use the money in the card. I never thought that I would come to this brat just for his information. More than 1 million is nothing to him. But my own daughter was willing to do it for a strange man. He casually took out the more than 1 million he had given her. My own daughter has never been so close to me. Now she is so close to a poor boy. It would be fine if the other party was really a young talent. The problem is that the other person is just an ordinary person. Are you still a fucking licker? My daughter's test score was close to that of Peking University and Tsinghua University. Finally, I came to Jiangcheng University. The information also clearly states that the two people knew each other before going to college. Sukan's dream since childhood was to go to Jiangcheng University. How could Chu Xiao not understand at this point? You are not going to college at all. This is to chase the boyfriend. You mean, Sukan spent all the more than 1 million to buy Bitcoin? The secretary nodded. Sukan bought Bitcoin a week ago. The price of Bitcoin at the time of purchase was $110 per coin. The current price of Bitcoin is $350 per coin. Within a week, the lady's capital had tripled. The withdrawal now has already yielded a profit of more than 2 million. After hearing the secretary's report, Chu Xiao instantly became interested in Bitcoin. But the first thing we need to deal with right now is that brat Sukan. I will never allow my daughter to be abducted so easily. Postpone all your plans for tomorrow. I have to go to Jiangcheng University tomorrow. After hearing the boss's arrangement, the secretary hesitated for a moment and said to Chu Xiao, Mr. Chu, you want to find Sukan, right? Chu Xiao did not answer, but glanced at the secretary with dissatisfaction. The reason why he chose the secretary in front of him was very simple. Until you know what to say and what not to say, and do things reliably and quickly. But now the secretary's inquiries have obviously gone beyond the scope of his job. Chu Xiao's extremely oppressive look made the secretary dare not even breathe. But he still said it with gritted teeth. Boss Chu, my daughter and Miss Youwei are the same age, so I know a thing or two about children's thinking. There is already a rift between you and Miss Youwei. If you go to find Sukan now, the lady and Sukan will drift further and further apart. If the young lady knew about this, it would definitely affect your relationship with her. Chu Xiao calmed down after hearing what his secretary said. Then he nodded and asked the secretary to continue. Sukan may realize that the lady is rich, but he feels that with his ability. Soon you can follow up with the distance between the young lady. He didn't know that there was not a bridge between him and the young lady, but a gap of tens of millions. It was a chasm that he could never cross. The relationship between the lady and you has just eased. You don't have to rush into a relationship between two people. You can even be a good person out of it. But as long as Sukan realize the gap between him and the lady. As long as you are a rational person, you will naturally give up this relationship. What's more, Sukan has always been pursuing Lin Shanshan. The relationship with the lady is more likely to be a friendship. You can even take the initiative to sponsor Sukan and use it to ease your relationship with the lady. Sukan is not important. What is important is when the young lady is willing to go home. When will the lady be around you? After hearing the secretary's analysis, Chu Xiao nodded meaningfully. With Chu Xiao's intelligence, he would definitely think of this. But caring can lead to confusion, especially for his precious daughter. Chu Xiao is more likely to be mixed with sad emotions. Just do as you say. Looking at the Bitcoin report, Chu Xiao suddenly became interested. By the way, buy me 10 million Bitcoins. Please make an appointment for me to meet Youwei on Sunday. If Youwei refuses as before, tell her that she can bring Sukan with her. If she still doesn't come, tell Youwei. If she doesn't come, I will go and see Sukan in person. When Chu Xiao said this, there was a slight chill in his tone. The secretary nodded, then walked out of the office with the documents. When the secretary walked out of the office, he found that his back was already soaked with cold sweat. He was also betting on what he just said. If the bet is successful, you will get a promotion and a raise in salary. If the bet fails, your career will come to a halt. But it was obvious that he made the right bet. Chapter 19, Unexpected Popularity. Brother, you are really great. Next time you ask for someone to play with you, don't forget to call me Tilder. A tingling sound came from the other side of the headset, making Chen Shu distracted. Chen Shu originally wanted to continue fighting, but then he thought that if he continued fighting, he would miss class tomorrow. Finally, after talking to the person playing with me for a while, I turned off the computer. The person is already lying in bed. But my head is filled with sweet voices. The day before yesterday, he was browsing the forum as usual. Suddenly I saw a League of Legends player showing off that he was playing games with a girl. Hesitate because the other party's showing off is too obvious. Chen Shu has no partner and spends his days attending classes, playing games, and browsing forums. It was like eating gunpowder. I clicked on the post directly to join the battle. He suddenly found out during the battle. The girl is not the other party's girlfriend at all, but a playmate called by the other party. Play together? Everyone can understand these two words, but can you also ask a girl to play with you? After being introduced by netizens, Chen Shu followed the clues and found a sweet playmate. Then he began his journey of no return. After seeing Chen Qian's introduction, Chen Shu immediately paid without hesitation and clicked to play with her. She is a weak loli and a girl who likes anime. During the game, every time I need help, the other side can always come to support. The other party can also chat about their favorite hobbies. The occasional calls of brother made him even more distracted. Chen Shu was so absorbed in it that he even forgot to go to class. Until Chen Qian said, "Brother has to go to class, boys who study well are the most handsome. If my brother could get into graduate school, maybe I would consider being with him. Mom and dad think that only boys with high education are the most handsome." After Chen Qian finished speaking, Chen Shu began his daily routine. Classrooms, canteen, dormitories. Not only did his academic performance gradually improve, but his rank also climbed from bronze to gold 1. He even received a scholarship. After my parents found out, they increased the living expenses even more. Then you can order something sweet again. But why are Chen Qian's charges getting more and more expensive recently? At the beginning, it only took 70 per game, but now it has reached 130. The sweetness that Chen Shu has been thinking about is naturally Lu Ji's new ID. After Core disappeared, Lao Yang felt uncomfortable for a long time. But a man's love comes and goes quickly and it's over quickly. Sukan discovered that there were many students who were inexperienced in the world. After ordering a playmate, they often get so absorbed in it that they even skip classes. So Sukan added some conditions. If you are a student, guide him or her towards the good students you like. If you are a worker, then you should guide them to think that working hard is cool. Money is earned little by little, step by step. If a student drops out of school because of playing with others, it may end up making the news. This is not what Sukan wants to see. Sukan clearly realized that playing games with others is still in its infancy. The most important thing to do nowadays is to advertise. As long as you increase your popularity, everything you do later will be much easier. Whether it is to attract female game companions or to attract more game players. They all need to increase their popularity, but it is obvious that Sukan does not have enough funds. So Sukan took a different approach and used the Navy. The method is very simple, just gather the male college students in the surrounding dormitories. Everyone goes to comment on other schools' forums. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as it gets attention. A message cost 25 cents. In this way, Sweet Playmate quickly became well known among college students. Pushing open the dormitory door, Wang Kai's face was full of joy. The Dragon King's anger at the corner of his mouth could hardly be suppressed and was about to break through the sky. "Hey, boss, what's wrong with you? I found money on the road, and my schoolmate asked for my contact information. It couldn't be that I stepped in dog shit." Wang Kai rolled his eyes at Lu Ji. In just 1 week, he earned 2,000 yuan from the gaming platform. "When we went shopping today, I naturally paid for the bag my girlfriend liked in full." The happy girlfriend took out her ID card that day. At first, Wang Kai felt a little uncomfortable and uneasy when he pretended to be a girl and played with her. But you can watch your wallet gradually bulge. Wang Kai's inner fluctuations gradually subsided, and he even felt a little excited. Looking at the grown men being pinched by his own hands. Wang Kai actually enjoyed it and his speech skills became more and more proficient. The turnover rate has reached 70%. That is to say, 7 out of 10 people will continue to look for him. Just as the two were fighting with each other. There was a knock on the door and a strange head came in. She said shyly, "Excuse me, is this dormitory 203? I'm here to apply for a playmate." Lu Ji and Wang Kai looked at each other and then smiled at each other. "Come on, don't be shy, come in and let's talk in detail." 3 days after the companion gaming platform was launched, the surrounding dormitories suddenly discovered that the originally extremely stingy number 203 suddenly became generous. Especially Wang Kai, who always brags about what he bought for his girlfriend. Liu Ran also changed into new clothes. Everyone knows the situation at Liu Ran's home. Naturally, someone came to ask out of curiosity. When people who came to inquire learned about the business Wang Kai and Liu Ran were doing, they were instantly petrified. You can look at the table full of snacks and visit AJ casually. Look at the brothers' gradually bulging wallet. Several families whose financial situation was not so good gradually sat up. The moment the money fell into their wallet, the entire men's dormitory was in an uproar. One or two, a dormitory and then the whole building. Originally, Sukan asked them to pay money to post. The following are all my own business. I gave you money on my own initiative. Just like that, the sweet playtime lasted only 1 week. He became famous at Jiangcheng University. Many people from other grades and other dormitory buildings found dormitory 203. In the classroom, Chu Youwei sat next to Sukan. Sukan, am I really useless? Chu Youwei lowered his head and spoke in a low voice. She racked her brains and finally found 7 girls who were willing to play League of Legends with her. Actually, it is understandable. There are not many girls who play games, and even fewer who buy a computer just for the purpose of playing games. In other words, these girls are not short of money at all. Chu Youwei has a socially anxious personality. It is not easy to find 7 people who are willing to play with you. You've done a great job. Sukan rubbed Chu Youwei's little head. But almost all of your entire building is just playing with you. I only found 7 people. It's different. Sukan shook his head. We couldn't find anyone at first, you know Lu Ji. Of course she was familiar with him, and had even met and greeted him several times. Initially we couldn't recruit anyone. He pretended to be a girl and finally tricked Lao Yang from the dormitory next to us. Anyway, you've done a great job. Puff. Hearing Sukan's description, Chu Youwei couldn't help but burst out laughing. She can still imagine the awkward atmosphere when Lao Yang stepped into dormitory 203. Chapter 20. Oops, I'm sorry I broke your phone. It became so popular that even Sukan didn't expect it. Sweet Playmate is extremely popular in Jiangcheng University. Almost all the boys who play games work part-time as game companions. After Lao Yang learned that Core might be a girl, Lu Ji has been almost driven crazy by the constant search for Core. Every time I see Lao Yang, I subconsciously avoid him. The case was almost traced back to Lu Ji several times, but fortunately Lu Ji had changed his account long ago. Sukan took advantage of this wave of traffic and opened the door of the girls' dormitory. Many girls also started to play as playmates. However, the story of a lovely girl has also spread throughout Jiangcheng University. The number of people who registered to play with others has also reached over 1,000. The number of users has exceeded 100,000. The orders for daily playmates are still in short supply. The reason why Sweet Playmate is so popular is all thanks to the terrifying spreadability of male college students. There are not many girls who play games. There are even fewer girls who can talk and speak sweetly. Click a playmate, who not only has a sweet voice, but also can compliment you, instantly captivating the majority of gamers. It's okay, I still have money. Chu Youwei lowered his head and spoke in a low voice. In fact, after Sukan took away the more than 1 million, there was less than 1,000 yuan left in Chu Youwei's wallet. She earned her university tuition and living expenses through hard work and scholarships. Even if there was still more than 1 million, Chu Youwei would never use a single cent. Sukan forced the money into Chu Youwei's arms. Just take it if I tell you to. Sukan has been investing in the companionship gaming platform these days, and he has indeed made some money. Originally, Sukan thought that the average unit price should be maintained at 30. I never thought it would double. The platform takes a 20% commission on every order. The platform handles an average of more than 2,000 orders per day, and daily revenue has exceeded 25,000. After giving his brothers a share, Sukan can still earn about 20,000 yuan a day. Looking at Chu Youwei's cautious look, Sukan suddenly felt a little funny. This little girl might not know yet the fact that I was already a millionaire. Do you remember the Bitcoin I bought earlier? Chu Youwei nodded. When we bought it, it was around 110, and now it has risen to over 400. In other words, as long as we sell all the Bitcoins we have, you are millionaire now. But I think Bitcoin still has the potential to appreciate. So we'll wait a while before we take action. R. Chu Youwei stared at Sukan with wide eyes. Has this made me a millionaire? In other words, can I support Sukan in the future? Thinking of this, Chu Youwei's face turned red. Chu Youwei, what are you thinking about? This 1 million plus was earned by Sukan with your help. How could someone need you to support them? Thinking of this, Chu Youwei's eyes dimmed a little. Lend me your phone. Chu Youwei took out her cell phone without even asking Sukan what he was going to do. Is there anything important in your phone? Chu Youwei shook her head. There is really nothing else in my phone except for some people's phone numbers. She had memoized all the phone numbers. Sukan nodded, took out his phone card, walked to the sink and held out his hand. As soon as I let go of the phone, it fell straight into the water. Oh tilde Chu Youwei, I'm so sorry, I dropped your phone into the water. Chu Youwei opened her eyes wide, with a look of bewilderment and helplessness. What had she just seen? Sukan took his cell phone and threw it into the pool. Although there is nothing important in the phone and it is not valuable. But you can't just throw my phone away. Chu Youwei looked at Sukan with a wronged expression. At this time, Sukan was looking at Chu Youwei with a smirk on his face. Then he took out a brand new iPhone 5S from his pocket. Since I broke your phone, then I can help you find a new one, okay? Sukan knew Chu Youwei's character very well. If I buy a new phone and give it to Chu Youwei for no reason, she will definitely refuse it. So Sukan used this trick. You did it on purpose. Chu Youwei's eyes were as big as copper bells. Who did it on purpose? It's not a good habit for Chu Youwei to slander classmates. I accidentally walked to the lake. My hand slipped without care. Then it fell down. Chu Youwei grabbed the 5S and inserted the card into the phone. I took out my SIM card in advance, and you still say it wasn't intentional. Then do you want it? Sukan pretended to grab 5S. But Chu Youwei dodged it swiftly. You broke my phone, so you should compensate me with a new one. Even though he said so. But he couldn't suppress the smile on his face. If it were someone else, Chu Youwei would only think that the other person had some issues with his brain. But this is the first gift Sukan gave me. You must keep it well. Strolling around the campus, the two of them were playing and joking as they walked. They didn't notice at all that not far away, a pair of eyes filled with resentment were staring at the two of them. Back to the dormitory. Chu Youwei still held the 5S tightly in her hand. It seems like this is some kind of treasure. Sitting on the bed, Chu Youwei suddenly grinned. Sukan really hasn't contacted Lin Shanshan these days. Lin Shanshan has also been quiet for a while. Turn on the phone and Apple's familiar log appears on the screen. Download some commonly used software. A phone call suddenly came in. Looking at the disgusting string of numbers, Chu Youwei subconsciously wanted to hang up. But Chu Youwei, who had just changed her mobile phone, couldn't find the hang up button. The call was connected with one operation. Hey Youwei, why was your phone turned off just now? How have you been at school recently? Dad is not busy at work the day after tomorrow, so he will go and see how you are doing. Chu Youwei wanted to hang up the phone after listening to it. Just as she was about to press the hang up button, a voice came from the receiver. I heard that you made a new friend recently, I think his name is Sukan. Dad is going to invite him out for dinner, what do you think? You're spying on me. Faced with my daughter's questioning, I had to be as thick-skinned as a mountain. Chu Qinxiao's old face couldn't help but turn red. How can you call it surveillance? Dad is just concerned about you. You're spying on me. No matter how Chu Qianxiao explained, Chu Youwei only had this one sentence. In the end, Chu Qianxiao couldn't save face anymore and had to use his trump card. Youwei's dad is doing this for your own good. This guy had no good intentions when he approached you, and he spent $1 million of your money right away. If you don't want to see me the day after tomorrow, I will go and see Sukan privately then. Upon hearing that Chu Qianxiao wanted to meet Sukan in private, Chu Youwei clenched her hands tightly. If you dare to meet him in private, I will never meet you again in my life. Hey, I'm not kidding. What about the day after tomorrow? Time and place. I knew my daughter would not want her dad to spend the weekend alone. After hanging up the phone, a trace of sadness flashed in Chu Youwei's eyes. Suddenly the dormitory door was opened. Chapter 21, The cell phone is gone. Three disgusting figures walked into the dormitory together. Regarding Su Kan's proposal to change dormitories, Chu Youwei also thought about it seriously and finally decided to give up. She would rather suffer herself than trouble others. Chu Youwei naively believed that as long as she continued to be an unknown person, as long as there is no conflict with these three people, I can live the next 3 years in peace. But Chu Youwei still underestimated the evil of human nature. The three of them looked at each other, then floated towards Chu Youwei's new phone. Just before entering the dormitory, Lin Shanshan stopped three people. The three of them did not perform well in school and often skipped classes. Whether or not one can graduate has become a question. Lin Shanshan just stood at the door and made a promise to the three people. As long as they can break Chu Youwei's phone, then she could ask Senior Zhang to allow the three of them to become members of the student union. She also paid for the loss of the mobile phone. All the three of them needed to do was bully Chu Youwei. Even if Lin Shanshan wasn't there, the three of them would have already disliked Chu Youwei. Besides, if you don't take advantage of something that benefits you, you'll lose money. Oh, this is a new phone. Ding Shui snatched the phone away directly, her eyes full of teasing. Fang Yao, it's still the iPhone 5S. Wow, I heard this phone costs 6,000 yuan. Chu Youwei, I remember your family conditions are average. You didn't steal this phone, did you? Not necessarily, she's a school beauty now. Just beckon your finger and countless lickers will follow you. I heard that there's a woman next door. He even climbed into someone's bed just for an iPhone 5S, Chu Youwei, you wouldn't also. Ding Shui covered her mouth and looked at Chu Youwei in surprise. The three of them had a pretty good idea of Chu Youwei's family situation. My phone is Xiaomi 1, and I can't bear to replace it even though the screen is broken. The clothes I wear on a daily basis are just cheap items that cost a few dozen yuan. I also often go out to do odd jobs to supplement my living expenses. He bullied Chu Youwei at first just because he promised Lin Shanshan. But the moment I saw the iPhone 5S, everything I do nowadays is up to me. If Chu Youwei still uses Xiaomi, they won't care. But why am I still using Xiaomi and Samsung? But you got an iPhone 5S. Jealousy can destroy a person's sanity, and the sanity of the three people has now been occupied by jealousy. Under normal circumstances, the three of them would have broken her phone. Chu Youwei could only lower her head and agree. But this mobile phone was the first gift Su Kan gave her. Chu Youwei stood up and tried to grab the phone. But how could one person possibly rob three people? Give it back to me. This is my cell phone. There was anger in Chu Youwei's soft voice. She just doesn't want to cause trouble, which doesn't mean she is afraid of trouble. Hey, look, someone is anxious. Could it be that we are right and have made some people anxious? Outside the dormitory door, Lin Shanshan listened to their voice inside, smiled slightly, and turned away. Chu Youwei, the man that I, Lin Shanshan, can't get. Even if he is the bootlicker I abandoned, he is not something an ugly duckling like you can touch. The four people's noisy voices soon caused dissatisfaction among the other dormitories. It's almost time to go to bed now. If you don't sleep, we still need to rest. A few girls with bad tempers pushed open the dormitory door. What comes into view is. Tears kept welling up in Chu Youwei's eyes. Even though the three men were walking the dog, Chu Youwei was determined to get her phone back at all costs. The three of them were like bullying elementary school students. All kinds of vicious words came out of his mouth and his hands kept fiddling with his phone. Oh, you want a cell phone, don't you? As long as you kneel down before the three of us, I will return it to you. Shuai is right, if you don't want to kneel down. Admit that you are bitch, and everyone will. Before Fang Yao could finish her words, a cold voice echoed throughout the dormitory building. Ding Shui, Fang Yao, Yang Liqi, what are you doing? The three of them turned around and saw that the dormitory entrance was already full of people. Everyone had heard about the three people bullying Chu Youwei. But Chu Youwei never asked them for help. Who would be willing to cause trouble for no reason? Just ignore it if it has nothing to do with you. But what the three of them did today really aroused public outrage. It's even hard to believe the person who opened his mouth. Those words actually came out of the mouth of a female college student. In her opinion, these words can only be said by those who are least concerned. But now she heard it from her classmates. The three of them saw so many people watching and thought that this matter should come to an end. Ding Shui took advantage of Chu Youwei's lack of reaction. He walked silently to the window and threw the phone down. Oops, sorry, I didn't hold the phone firmly and it fell down. Watching the phone falling from the window, Chu Youwei finally couldn't help it at this moment. He looked like he had lost his soul and squatted on the ground crying. Qin Jiruo walked up to Ding Shui with an angry look on her face. His eyes were like sharp arrows, staring at Ding Shui. You did it on purpose. Ding Shui felt a little guilty when being stared at by that gaze. Humph. Is it necessary to be so fussy? It's just a cell phone. At worst, I can compensate her. It's just 6,000 yuan. As if no one has any. After saying that, Ding Shui took out 6,000 yuan from her bag and threw it on Chu Youwei's bed. Qin Jiruo wanted to say something. But Chu Youwei held his hand, and Chu Youwei stood up with a determined look in her eyes. Thank you, Senior Qin. I will take care of this matter. As soon as Chu Youwei finished speaking, Fang Yao beside her couldn't wait to mock her. Did you hear that? The person himself said it. The dog catches the mouse with false mercy, meddling in other people's business. Qin Jiruo glanced at Chu Youwei and finally sighed helplessly. After all, the person himself has already spoken. Even if she wanted to continue to manage it, what could she do? Chu Youwei picked up 6,000 yuan and threw it directly on Ding Shui's face. I don't need your money, I understand after seeing you. Sukan is right. The more face I give you, the less grateful you will be. Instead, it will only be a rip-off. Everyone in the school knows that Chu Youwei has a weak personality. When Chu Youwei finished saying these words, everyone present was stunned. No one expected that Chu Youwei could come out with such fierce words. After saying that, Chu Youwei looked at Qin Jiruo again. Can I use your cell phone for a moment, please? Qin Jiruo took out her cell phone, and Chu Youwei pressed the alarm button without hesitation. Hi, I want to call the police. I am a student at Jiangcheng University. Someone stole my mobile phone and damaged it maliciously in school. They also spread malicious rumors about me, making it impossible for me to lead a normal life. I don't accept apologies or compensation. I just want them to receive the punishment they deserve. My phone is worth 7,000 yuan, it's the highest-end version of the Apple 5S, I just bought it today and I have the invoice. Seeing Chu Youwei was serious, the three of them panicked instantly. Chu Youwei, what are you doing? We are just playing a joke on you again. Yeah, Shuei is right, we were just joking with you again, what do you mean by calling the police? Chapter 22, Chu Youwei becomes tough. Youwei, we apologize to you and we will compensate you for the money spent on the phone. As long as you forgive us, we will never bully you again. Yes, we took the initiative to apply to move out of the dormitory. Chu Youwei's call to the police shocked everyone. The three of them also felt fear for the first time. Perhaps the final settlement is that they are detained for thousands of years. Plus a fine of a few $1,000s. The problem is, what if their whole school knows about it? How will they survive in school in the future? If the teacher knew about this, would they be punished? Will they, who already have difficulty graduating, be unable to graduate or even be expelled? They don't care about Chu Youwei at all, and the only person they care about now is themselves. After hanging up the phone, Chu Youwei did not look at the three people. Instead, he looked at Qin Jiruo. Senior, I want to make another call on your phone. Qin Jiruo smiled and nodded. Call me, you can leave the phone here tonight. She originally thought that Chu Youwei didn't want her to meddle in other people's business. I thought it would pass if I just endured it. This is the kind of person Qin Jiruo despises the most. But what surprised her was that Chu Youwei, who was known for her good character, actually chose to call the police. It's not that I don't let her manage it, but to resolve this matter once and for all. No matter how hard you take care of yourself, there will always be a day when you are not around. Only when Chu Youwei stands up on her own can the problem be truly solved. Chu Youwei adjusted her mood and pressed the dial button. But the moment a familiar voice came from the other side of the microphone, Chu Youwei couldn't help but feel a lump in her throat and almost cried. Hello, who are you? It's me, Sukan. Can you come to the girls' dormitory now? Chu Youwei spoke softly, and tried her best to adjust her tone. But Sukan still heard something strange. Without any hesitation, Sukan replied quickly. Okay, wait for me, I'll be there soon. Throwing down his phone, Sukan picked up the boss's electric car key. "Boss, let me use your electric car." As soon as he finished speaking, Sukan quickly rushed out of the dormitory. Only 3 people were left standing there in confusion. Wang Kai glanced at Lu Ji and Liu Ran. "What's wrong with Lao Su? What happened?" Liu Ran was also a little anxious. "How about we go over and see what's going on?" Only Lu Ji shook his head. "Don't you know Lao Su yet? Except for Lin Shanshan's matter. The 3 of us together can't beat Lao Su. If something really happens that he can't solve, there's no rush for us to step in." After hearing Lu Ji's words, the 2 of them calmed down. However, my hands that were playing games still stopped, and I felt worried subconsciously. Lu Ji took out his cell phone and clicked on a profile picture he hadn't contacted for a long time. Sent a message. "The handlebars of the electric bike have been twisted to their head." On campus, driving at such a high speed caused a lot of people to curse. Sukan didn't care at all, he just hoped it would go faster. Chu Youwei would never call me for help unless there was something wrong. The number that called was still an unfamiliar number. Even though Chu Youwei had tried her best to control her tone, Sukan still heard a hint of crying. "Student Chu Youwei, the teacher knows that you have suffered a great injustice. Dante has already said he can compensate you. Teachers can also apply to increase your scholarship. After all, it's just a conflict between classmates. If you call the police like this and the police come to our school, it will definitely have a bad impact on the school. Punishment for Ding Shui, Fang Yao, and Yang Liqi. The school will definitely impose severe punishment. The teacher assures you that at the very least you will be given a punishment. As long as you are willing to cancel the alarm. The teacher assures you that he will never favor any side. Everyone will get the punishment they deserve." The counselor stood at the dormitory door and kept persuading Chu Youwei. Ding Shui, Fang Yao, and Yang Liqi were already crying. It seemed that the 3 of them were the ones who were actually being bullied. Chu Youwei looked at the 3 people and shed crocodile tears. Silently shook his head. "Teacher, I have already given them a chance before. It's because they don't cherish it. This isn't the first time this has happened. The scholarship was not given to me by anyone, I fought for it myself. Police handling is police handling, and school punishment is school punishment. I will not give up calling the police." After getting Chu Youwei's answer, the counselor sighed. He was most afraid of encountering such stubborn students. If you are wronged, the teacher can speak a few words on your behalf and ask the other party to apologize to you, and that will be all. If I call the police and the matter becomes a big deal, it will affect whether I can stay in school. The counselor found it difficult to talk to Chu Youwei. I could only turn around and look at the 3 people who were still crying beside me. "Why are you 3 crying? Why didn't you cry when you bullied classmate Chu Youwei? How come you didn't cry when you threw your phone down? What you need to do now is to ask for forgiveness from Chu Youwei. Don't cry here, I tell you. If this matter is not handled properly, all 3 of you will get out. Your parents send you to school not so that you can bully your classmates. It is for you to study well. Are you worthy of your parents?" After hearing what the teacher said, the 3 of them understood instantly. Ding Shui came to Chu Youwei first and knelt down immediately. "It was all my fault before. I shouldn't bully you, and I shouldn't drop my phone accidentally. As long as you are willing to forgive me. 30,000 no. 50,000, how about I compensate you 50,000 yuan?" Until now, Ding Shui still doesn't think she has made any mistake. In her opinion, all she needed to do was get Chu Youwei's forgiveness and pay the money. Everyone knows about Chu Youwei's family. 50,000 is not a small sum of money for Chu Youwei. In Ding Shui's opinion, Chu Youwei would definitely agree. Chu Youwei shook her head. "I'm not short of money, I just want those who made mistakes to bear the consequences." After hearing Chu Youwei's words, Ding Shui finally couldn't help it. "Chu Youwei, you really think you are some great saint? It's just a cell phone. You just want money, so if 50,000 isn't enough, how about 100,000? Even if you arrest me, what can you do? In the end, everyone is in trouble. Do you think you can be safe and sound? I would be expelled from school because of this. My parents will never let you go when the time comes. You are from an ordinary family, but you should know that I am from Jiangcheng. Don't be shameless." "Who are you talking about who is shameless?" Sukan walked straight to Ding Shui, his eyes filled with coldness that made Ding Shui subconsciously take 2 steps back. The moment I saw Sukan, Chu Youwei finally couldn't help it and threw herself into Sukan's arms and started crying. Wow, Sukan and the others broke the phone you gave me. They also slandered me. Feeling the petite body in his arms, Sukan gently touched Chu Youwei's head. It's okay, I'm here. I will make them pay the price they deserve. Chapter 23. A cell phone worth 5 million. Sukan walked up to Ding Shui. He is 1.84 meters tall and has an extremely oppressive look in his eyes. Ding Shui was a little scared for a moment. Let me ask you, who is shameless? Ding Shui, who was originally a little scared, instantly gained confidence after seeing Sukan's face clearly. This matter was planned by Lin Shanshan. Everyone knows that you, Sukan, are Lin Shanshan's bootlicker. What's wrong with Chu Youwei? It's just a mobile phone, is there any need to put an outline online? It's only 7,000 yuan, I can just pay her back. Bang! The loud slap was so harsh in front of the quiet dormitory building. The air seemed to condense in the air at this moment. The scene fell into silence. After a brief silence, Ding Shui's roar broke the silence. Oh! Sukan, you actually dare to hit me, do you believe it or not? Before Ding Shui finished speaking, Sukan's cold gaze made Ding Shui subconsciously stop screaming. Let me hear you scold Chu Youwei again. I will beat you every time I see you. Don't you want to pay compensation? Doesn't your family have a lot of power? I want to see if your family can afford the compensation. After saying that, Sukan took out his cell phone and called the police. Hi, I want to call the police. I have 5 million bitcoins stored on my phone. Now my phone has been smashed, causing me to lose 5 million. Please send the police over here. Hearing Sukan's words, the police chose to respond without hesitation. From the police's perspective, it was initially just a conflict among students in the school. A mobile phone worth several $1,000s can be solved by the teacher himself. But 5 million is not a small amount of money. If it is a false alarm, they can deal with the person who called the police later. But what if it's true? They will be the ones who will be punished then. Hearing Sukan's words, Ding Shui laughed out loud subconsciously. 5 million more. Sukan, have you ever seen how much 5 million is? I'm afraid you won't be able to earn 5 million in your lifetime. You really went to great lengths to get the police to come. Even the counselor found it a little funny. How could a mere cell phone involve 5 million? Sukan didn't explain to anyone. Bitcoins can be stored in an account or in a specific location. As long as he bites it to death and saves it in his mobile phone. Even if the police come and the phone is repaired, everything will be gone. The things in the phone were gone, but Chu Youwei's bank card payment records were still there. If the other party sincerely admits his mistake, he didn't mind letting the other party go, but since the other party was so arrogant, then Sukan wouldn't mind teaching them a profound lesson. After a while, the police arrived at the scene. The instructor also knows this. This matter was no longer something he could handle, so he stepped aside and called the director. Who called the police? Sukan walked forward. I called the police, there were 3 of them just now. He deliberately threw the phone I gave to my friend from the dormitory. The cell phone doesn't cost much. The problem is, the phone contained 1 million bitcoins I purchased. Now the value of these bitcoins has reached 5 million. The police also frowned when they heard this. You buy bitcoin, and if your phone breaks, you just get compensation. Can your bitcoin be destroyed by a fall? The old policeman was a little confused, but the young auxiliary policeman next to him had heard of bitcoin. Even bought some myself. The auxiliary police officer came over and said, Comrade, what do you mean? You bought 1 million bitcoins and stored them on your phone. Now they have broken the phone and cannot take it out. Is that what you mean? Sukan nodded. The old policeman was a little confused, and the auxiliary police hurriedly explained. After the police understood, their eyes became fierce. If what this young man said is true, then things get serious. Ding Shui looked at Sukan's confident expression and laughed. What bitcoin? Policeman, please don't listen to his nonsense. Just him, don't even mention 1 million. If he could come up with 10,000 yuan, I would drop out of school. Everyone knows that Sukan comes from an ordinary family in a county town. The food expenses are only a few hundred yuan per month. In order to give Lin Shanshan a gift, I need to work part-time to save enough money. The police looked at Sukan and said, "Student, you need to understand the consequences of making a false report. If you are lying. Now that it's explained clearly, I can pretend nothing happened. Solve your problem of dropping your phone." In the police's opinion, Sukan's attire did not look like someone who could afford $1 million. Maybe call the police and tell them that amount. Just to get the police there quicker. Sukan ignored Lin Shanshan. "I really can't afford $1 million. This $1 million was contributed by classmate Chu Youwei, and I was responsible for the investment. We can check bank transactions at any time." Har 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 har, this is the biggest joke I've heard this year. Just her? Chu Youwei, take out $1 million. If Chu Youwei can come up with $1 million, I will be the richest man in the world. The police looked at Chu Youwei again. It doesn't look like he can come up with $1 million. After all, I don't have any luxurious clothes on me. His temperament was also different from those rich people he had met. But since Sukan said so, we can retrieve the records from the bank. Then let us go back to the police station. In that case, please come back to the police station with me. Once we get to the police station, everything will become clear. Just as the police were about to take everyone away, a fat man with a big belly quickly ran over. "Wait a moment, police comrade. I am their grade director. Please give me a minute to mediate." The policeman nodded. The director didn't even look at Ding Shui. Walked straight to Sukan. "Student Sukan, right? You have to think about it carefully. This matter concerns the reputation of our school. It will not benefit anyone if it gets out of hand. The school will give Ding Shui and the other two a disciplinary punishment of probation. The phone will also be compensated to you. This is the end of the matter, do you understand?" The head teacher gave the order in an unquestionable tone. Sukan sneered. "I just want to make a big thing small, as long as it doesn't affect you. Your own feelings, doesn't it matter?" "I don't understand, the police are here. I won't let the policeman make a wasted trip. What's more, there are really 5 million bitcoins in the phone. Who will bear my loss? Can you afford it?" Seeing that Sukan dared to talk back to him, the head teacher's face was almost twisted with anger. "Student Sukan, you have to think carefully. You will then stay in school for 3 more years. Sukan, can I understand that you are threatening me?" At this point, the head teacher stopped pretending. "You may interpret it that way, but that's not what I meant. Return 5 million. Looking at Sukan's poor appearance, he doubted whether he could come up with 5,000 yuan. If this incident affects his subsequent job evaluation, then Sukan deserves to die. Chapter 24. Panic, everyone is panicking. Sukan spoke directly to the police, bypassing the director. "Can we go now? I do not accept any form of mediation." Chu Youwei tugged at Sukan's clothes from behind. At first, Chu Youwei just wanted to teach the 3 of them a profound lesson. "I didn't expect things to develop to this point." Chu Youwei was also a little worried at this time. She was not worried about Ding Shui and the other 2. Instead, he was worried that Sukan had offended the director and would be in trouble at school in the future. Qin Jiruo stood aside and watched. At the beginning, she had a great liking for Sukan. In front of so many people, bearing the pressure of being a teacher. Still dare to protect his girlfriend. But now it is obviously still a bit unreasonable. After all, no one would believe that a mobile phone is worth 5 million. Based on the principle of responsibility. The police took everyone into the car. Fortunately, knowing that there were many people involved, the police came in 2 cars. Otherwise, there would be no way to take so many people away at once. Watching the police car drive away, the head teacher's face became increasingly darker. He thought he could easily solve the problem with just 1 sentence. Now, not only has the problem not been resolved. On the contrary, the situation is getting bigger and bigger. The director looked at the counselor and said, "Contact Sukanchu and Youwei's parents. Also contact the parents of Ding Shui and the other 2. After saying that, she got into the car with her big belly and drove towards the police station. He's already here and things have gotten out of hand. All he could do was not to escalate the situation further. And look at Sukan's determined attitude. There was a faint voice in his heart telling him that perhaps Sukan was not lying. In the girls' dormitory, Lin Shanshan had been paying close attention to the developments below. When I saw everyone being taken into the police car, She was also a little panicked at this moment. But when she thought of Senior Zhang, Lin Shanshan calmed down. He quickly took out his cell phone and sent a message to Senior Zhang. Senior, I remember you said there's a delicious Western restaurant in Wander. Now I suddenly feel a little hungry. You wouldn't mind my big appetite, would you? Inside the police car, Chu Youwei said with some concern. Sukan just directed. Sukan chuckled and rubbed Chu Youwei's head. Don't worry, it's okay, we didn't lie. They are the ones who did wrong. Why should we feel guilty? As for the director, I still don't believe he would fire me for no reason. As long as I don't make any mistakes, he can't do anything to me. Besides, you are not included in this. Oh, me? Chu Youwei was stunned. Yes, you can easily take out 1 million. Why should I worry about this? Chu Youwei thought about it carefully. It seems that it is not impossible to contact Chu Qianxiao for Sukan. With Chu Qianxiao's ability, he can solve such problems. Seems like it should be simple, right? She didn't know what Chu Qianxiao did. But she knew that Chu Qianxiao should not be short of money. When I was in his company, the business deals his secretary talked about seemed to be worth tens of millions or even hundreds of millions. He also vaguely mentioned having dinner with the mayor or something. Thinking of this, Chu Youwei finally calmed down from feeling a little uneasy. The auxiliary police officer driving in front. After hearing the conversation between the two, I was slightly stunned. You were serious, right? Are there really more than 5 million bitcoins in your phone? Suka nodded. Well, my friend talked to me about it 2 years ago. At that time, Bitcoin was only a few dozen dollars per coin. By the time I wanted to invest, it had risen to over $100. We both thought that the money would just stay there. It's better to invest a little bit, and you'll save more than 1 million. I didn't expect it to be worth more than 5 million now. After listening to Sukan's words, the auxiliary police officer driving in front trembled. Invest more than 1 million less. There was no one else in the car now, so it was impossible for Sukan to lie. In other words, more than 5 million yuan was lost just like that. Bang! That's all. Thinking about the arrogant faces of Ding Shui and others just now. If the auxiliary police knew about this, it would probably be a big deal. Inside the police station, the police took the transaction records provided by Sukan. Look at the price of Bitcoin, which is still rising. I suddenly felt a little overwhelmed. Now it's not just about the phone. And according to the auxiliary police, if the 5 million was really in the mobile phone. My phone is broken and there is really no way to get it back. Interrogation room. Ding Shui's face was full of disdain, while Fang Yao and Yarn Lichi were a little flustered. Their families are not like Ding Shui's. Ding Shui is a local and her family has some money. They are just an ordinary family. If the phone is really worth 5 million. Even if they were sold, they couldn't afford the compensation. Shui, this phone really can't be worth 5 million. Yes, I just saw Sukan said it with great confidence. Ding Shui chuckled, 5 million left, can he come up with 50,000 yuan? Don't worry. At most we can give her enough money to buy a cell phone. If you are willing to give him more money, there is no need to detain him. Get Ding Shui's answer. The two people finally let go of their worries. Suddenly the door of the detention room was opened and the police looked at the three people expressionlessly. Did you throw the phone down? Ding Shui, I accidentally dropped it when I was holding it. Police, you'd better contact your parents first. There are really 5 million bitcoins in the other party's mobile phone. The phone was damaged and there was no way to get it out. You'd better discuss the compensation plan with your family. If the other party catches you and won't let you go, it is intentional damage to other people's property, and the amount is huge. He could face a 5-10-year sentence. At this moment, the three of them were stunned. Police, you are kidding us, right? Police, who's in the mood to joke with you? Contact your parents immediately. As the iron gate closed, the three men's hearts felt like they were hit by a huge hammer. Shui, what should we do? 5 million, let alone 5 million, our family can't even afford 1 million. My family is also. At this time, Ding Shui collapsed to the ground. Her family is rich, but it is simply impossible for them to come up with 5 million right away. Suddenly Ding Shui remembered something. Right. Lin Shanshan. Lin Shanshan asked them to do this. Even if they are punished, shouldn't Lin Shanshan be the one to pay the compensation? Ding Shui pulled the two of them over and explained something to them. Fang Yao and Yang Liqi are not locals. After learning about the incident, the parents hurriedly booked tickets and rushed to Jiangcheng. Ding Shui's parents were the first to arrive at the police station. I have to say that Ding Shui has some capital to show off. My father drives a Mercedes-Benz E-Class. What my mother wears is either LV or Balenciaga. The first impression given to people is the wealth of the shop. Midnight. What are these policemen doing? Chu Youwei is such a good kid, what could she have done wrong? I also made an appointment with my bestie to go for a SPA. The man said nothing and walked into the police station where the police soon came over. Hello, whose parents are you two? Hello, police officer. I am Ding Shui's father. Looking at the policeman's solemn expression, Father Ding's heart skipped a beat. Chapter 25, a story completely different from the novel. After listening to the police's story, Ding Nianqing took out a cigarette from his pocket. Mind if I smoke one? The policeman nodded. Who wouldn't he have a headache if they met a child like this? Ding Nianqing knows his daughter quite well. I have never suffered any injustice since I was a child. He is arrogant in doing things and has a bad personality. He and his wife have been struggling to settle down in Jiangcheng. Ding Shui could only be left with her grandparents. Now that the company is just getting started, my wife can relax. He is even more spoiled to his daughter and tries his best to satisfy her in everything she wants. Make up for childhood debts. This also resulted in my daughter's worse character. But nothing serious happened. The two of them didn't take it to heart and just thought that everything would be fine once the child grew up. You will be sensible. I never thought that such a big thing would happen today. Breaking a classmate's cell phone and causing a loss of 5 million is a small loss. What's really big is that she actually bullied her roommates. This is the fact that Ding Nianqing cannot accept. Don't underestimate any little person who climbs up from the bottom. After Zhang Jishu learned about what her daughter had done, their whole brain is in a state of shutdown. Until Ding Nianqing spoke. Mr. Policeman, can I see my daughter? The policeman nodded. Walking out of the mediation room, Ding Nianqing saw Sukan and the other person sitting next to him. Walk in front of Sukan Chu Youwei. He sighed, and then did something that surprised everyone. Ding Nianqing bowed to Chu Youwei. Student Chu, I'm sorry for my poor teaching. In the end it caused you so much harm. The case should be judged however it should be, and I will collect the compensation as soon as possible. Apologizing to you is not an attempt to gain your forgiveness. I am truly sorry for causing you so much harm. Ding Nianqing meant this sincerely. Zhang Jishu walked forward and lowered his head. My two classmates, I am really sorry. After saying that, the two of them walked towards the detention room. Even Sukan was a little surprised. Judging from Zhang Jishu's outfit, he thought he would meet the ignorant parents in the novel. But I never thought that under Ding Shui's hateful face. They are such knowledgeable and sensible parents. Chu Youwei pulled Sukan's arm. You're not really going to send them to jail. The three of them broke the gift that Sukan gave them. Chu Youwei was also very angry because the three people had bullied her before. At most it was just verbal bullying, and there was nothing excessive in other aspects. The three of them must be taught a lesson. But because of this incident, all three of them were sent to prison. Chu Youwei still couldn't bear it. Sukan shook his head. I just planned to teach them a profound lesson. Besides, don't you think this is too much of a coincidence? Chu Youwei was stunned. What a coincidence. Yes, everything was too coincidental. No matter how the three people bullied Chu Youwei before, they never took action. What happened today was clearly different from the past. Obviously there are other people behind this. And if I guess correctly, this person was Lin Shanshan. Ding Shui and the other two were just there to take the blame. What if we deal with these three people? As long as Lin Shanshan is not dealt with, Chu Youwei will have no good days in school. What he wanted to do was to use this incident to teach Lin Shanshan a lesson that she would remember for the rest of her life. As soon as Ding Nianqing walked into the detention room, Ding Shui pretended to dive into her father's arms. Wow, Dad and the others bullied. Bang! A fierce slap landed directly on Ding Shui's face. How did I educate you on weekdays? I give you food and drink just to let you come to school to bully your classmates? Explain to the police word for word exactly what happened. If it was really you who deliberately damaged your classmate's phone, I will pay as much as I deserve. Looking at her father's fierce gaze, Ding Shui finally got scared. Dad, we were all wronged. It's true that we don't get along with Chu Youwei, but there's no need to bully her. They are all Lin Shanshan. At the beginning, it was Lin Shanshan who asked us to isolate Chu Youwei. She can't stand the men around her who are licking her bootlickers and touching other girls. She promised me as long as we exclude Chu Youwei, let us all join the student union. I also want to join the student union and it will make you happy. When we return to the dormitory tonight, Lin Shanshan told us that as long as we broke Chu Youwei's phone, she asked Senior Zhang to arrange for us to join the student union. After hearing what his daughter said, Ding Yanqing didn't believe it. Instead, he stared at his daughter with a sharp gaze. Everything you said is true. Ding Shui nodded quickly. Fang Yao on the side said hurriedly, Uncle, Lin Shanshan feels that Chu Youwei has taken away her licking dog. He also stole her limelight at the freshman party. So he was just deliberately taking revenge on Chu Youwei. We were just possessed by evil spirits for a moment, and we really didn't mean to bully Chu Youwei on purpose. When the police heard what the three people said, their eyes became serious. Can you guarantee that what you say is true? You must be aware of the consequences of slandering others. The three of them nodded hurriedly. We really realize our mistake. If you don't believe it, you can go to the school to investigate. Almost everyone in the girls' dormitory knows about this. Lin Shanshan has always maintained her pure personality among boys. There are actually a dozen spare tires. Many of the rumors about Chu Youwei in school were spread by Lin Shanshan. After thinking for a moment, the policeman said to the auxiliary police officer beside him, Xiao Wang, go to school again and bring Lin Shanshan back. Xiao Wang nodded and drove hurriedly to the school. Ding Yanqing walked out of the detention room, trembled and collapsed against the wall, looking like he had aged 10 years. His wife saw this and hurriedly supported Ding Yanqing. Old Ding, you can't get into trouble again. If you do, this family will fall apart. Ding Yanqing nodded and forced himself to stand up. Let us go and talk to those two students. Let's see how to minimize the losses, both for the other party and for us. But this time Shuai must be punished. Zhang Jishio nodded. Walking in front of Sukan, Ding Yanqing sat on a stool beside him. My two classmates, how are you going to deal with this matter? Sukan looked at Ding Yanqing and spoke bluntly. To be honest, I don't need this little money. It's only 5 million. I have developed a software now and can earn at least 30 or 40,000 every day. At first I was not prepared to accept mediation or compensation. We will do whatever the court decides. But Youwei felt that things were indeed a bit too much. The punishment should be meted out, but it shouldn't be so severe that their lives will be ruined. Now I want to hear how you plan to deal with this matter. Chapter 26 Evidence. Where is the evidence? I will make up for the loss of my two classmates as quickly as possible. But Xiexue just said that a person named Lin Shanshan instructed them to do this. Of course I am not making excuses for Xiexue. If I were to do what Xiexue did, I would never forgive her. But with Xiexue's personality, I know she would never lie. As parents, we really don't want to see our daughter go in. The punishment that should be received must be received. My two classmates, what do you think of this? Investigate the matter first, and then wait until the matter is clear. Regardless of whether Lin Shanshan instructed her to do so or not, she did something wrong. I asked them to apologize to Chu Youwei in front of all the students in the school. And he has to compensate for the losses, and the school will definitely give him a warning. You two definitely don't want to see her again. Once this is over, I will take her to transfer schools. If there is anything I haven't thought of, or if the two students are not satisfied, you can ask for it as you like, and I will definitely try my best to satisfy you two students. But as a father, I just can't bear to see my daughter go to jail. Why? Ding Yanqing sighed deeply. Sukan did not answer, but looked at Chu Youwei. After all, the person who can really decide this matter is not him, but Chu Youwei. But I guessed one thing right. It turned out that Lin Shanshan was behind this matter. Chu Youwei thought for a moment and then looked at Sukan. It's fine to apologize in front of the whole school, girls have to save face. But you must apologize to me sincerely. The money is only needed to compensate for the phone money. As for Bitcoin. Chu Youwei glanced at Sukan and continued. Sukan, you should have transferred your Bitcoin to somewhere else a long time ago. Sukan nodded. Chu Youwei is naive, but she is not stupid. She knew, with Sukan's character. How is it possible to put Bitcoin in a mobile phone? What if the phone is lost, or suddenly breaks down? But Lin Shanshan and the other two must also receive the punishment they deserve. About transferring schools. Chu Youwei thought for a moment. If all three of them are punished, they can only transfer to a second-tier or even third-tier university. They got to Jiangda through their own efforts. I can't decide their lives. But they must realize their mistakes in this matter. So if the three of them agree to go to the mountains to teach for a year, then I will forgive them. Hearing Chu Youwei's words, not only Ding Niancheng was shocked. Even Sukan was shocked. Only then did Sukan understand how brilliant Chu Youwei was in his previous life. It's not because of family, but because of one's own abilities. If it were me, I might not be able to make such a decision. People are always selfish. But while Chu Youwei was thinking about herself, she also considered the future of Ding Shui and the other two. This decision gave the three people the punishment they deserved. It also allowed me to vent my anger. Only then did Sukan understand why he cared so much about Chu Youwei. Perhaps it's because Chu Youwei always has a sincere heart. Thank you, Chu. Thank you so much. Ding Niancheng trembled as he looked at Chu Youwei's immature but extremely serious face. He couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart, thinking if Chu Youwei was his daughter. How great that would be. Lin Shanshan walked into the police station with confident steps. When he saw Sukan and Chu Youwei, his body trembled involuntarily. But he quickly regained his composure. Student Lin Shanshan, this time I came here mainly to ask you to assist in the investigation. According to the description of Ding Shui and three other classmates. Throwing Chu Youwei's phone away, it was you who found Ding Shui. Just make them a promise and let them do it, right? Lin Shanshan brushed her hair off her forehead. Did I do this? Although I can understand Ding Shui and the others' desire to get out as soon as possible. But the problem is, they can't throw dirty water on their classmates. Uncle Policeman, you won't believe what they say. You can go to the school and ask around. I never bully any classmates. You don't believe a bully's words. And slander a good man. The policeman's eyes never left Lin Shanshan's face. Student Lin, please don't misunderstand me. This time we asked you to come mainly to assist in the investigation. Find out what happened. If it really has nothing to do with you, the police will not let any bad guy go, and naturally they will not wrongly accuse a good person. After saying that, the auxiliary police officer brought Ding Shui and the other two in. The three people whose emotions had just stabilized. After seeing Lin Shanshan, he instantly became excited again. Lin Shanshan. You stinky bitch, you don't dare to admit what you did, right? If it weren't for you, why would we bully Chu Youwei? It was obviously you who was jealous that Chu Youwei got the gift that Sukan gave her. Let us go smash Chu Youwei's phone. On the surface, you are pure and innocent, in the girls' dormitory. Everyone knows that you are a green tea bitch, if it weren't for the fact that Senior Zhang likes you. Who else will care about you? Do you think you can do whatever you want just because you have a good-looking face? What else do you have besides this face? The only thing left is your vicious heart. Ding Shui, be careful with your words. This is the police station, not the place for you to curse. After being scolded by the police, Ding Shui lowered her head guiltily. Facing Ding Shui's abuse, Lin Shanshan's face also looked a little embarrassed. But his mouth remained firm. Evidence. You said I instructed you to do that. That's good evidence. As long as you can produce evidence, I will admit it. For a moment, Ding Shui froze in place. Yes, where is the evidence? She has no evidence at all. Lin Shanshan only made a verbal promise, there was no one else around except the three of them. At this moment, Ding Shui finally experienced the pain that a dumb person could not express in words. Don't slander others without evidence. Do you think Sukan is the only one who will sue you? I can also sue you for defamation. After saying that, Lin Shanshan looked at the police. Uncle Police, is there anything else? If not, can I leave now? The policeman looked at Lin Shanshan, based on his many years of law enforcement experience. This Lin Shanshan is definitely involved in this matter. But what Lin Shanshan said was right. Where is the evidence? The police act based on evidence. Without evidence, all speculation is just conjecture. Student Lin, you can go now, but if there are any follow-up cases, I may need your help. You may be summoned. It is the duty of every citizen to help the police. After saying that, Lin Shanshan didn't even look at Ding Shui and the other two, and walked straight out of the interrogation room. I walked into the lobby of the police station and saw Sukan and the other person sitting together, talking and laughing. Lin Shanshan's originally smug expression froze in an instant. In order not to get implicated. Only she knew how much she had paid tonight. What she couldn't accept was. Chapter 27, the first time I met my father-in-law was at the police station. What Lin Shanshan still cannot accept is. Sukan was originally just one fish in her many ponds. Still the most inconspicuous one. The reason for leaving Sukan in the pond was very simple. Sukan was handsome and cared for her in every possible way. Among the many suitors, there are many rich and considerate ones. But none of them is as handsome as Sukan. But in Lin Shanshan's opinion, Sukan is useless except for being handsome. But it all started with that 5,200 yuan. First, I forced myself to get the money back. Then he made a dazzling appearance at the freshman party with Chu Youwei, snatching the limelight that originally belonged to him. Then she heard that Sukan was doing some kind of playmate activity in the boys' dormitory. I heard you can make thousands of dollars a day. This made Lin Shanshan, who was already restless, gradually become interested in Sukan. After investigation, Lin Shanshan found that Sukan seemed to be a really good marriage candidate. First of all, if the appearance matches yours, the child born will naturally be good. The fact that Sukan was able to be admitted to Jiangcheng University proves that he has a good IQ. He is even more obedient to me. Your ability to make money will begin to show in school and will become even more dazzling after you graduate from school. Handsome, smart, and rich. Compared with the rich second generation, there are still constraints from family. Obviously Sukan has become the best choice in her fish pond. As for Sukan leaving her own fish pond, Lin Shanshan had never even thought about it. The reason is very simple: start fishing with yourself. No fish can escape from his control. Until that day when Sukan slapped him in the face at the dormitory door. The original joy also turned into hatred. Retaliation will follow. The first to start was naturally Chu Youwei. In her opinion, Chu Youwei has no advantages at all. Why does Sukan like her? She is an excellent student, beautiful and kind-hearted. There are countless people chasing after me. In what way can I be inferior to Chu Youwei? She thought for a long time and finally came to a conclusion. That means Sukan is blind. I just need to destroy Chu Youwei. The dog Sukan will naturally come back to him. If I can't make Sukan change his mind, then I will destroy it completely. A dog that bites never barks. Lin Shanshan perfectly confirmed this statement. After looking at the two of them, she walked out of the police station with a charming step. After Lin Shanshan left, the processing results will come out quickly. Chu Youwei, Ding Shui and the other two signed a settlement agreement. Ding Yanqing even promised that he would discipline his daughter well. He did not blame Chu Youwei and Sukan for his daughter going to the mountainous area to teach. On the contrary, I felt somewhat grateful to them. This is a good opportunity to help my daughter undergo a complete transformation. Ding Yanqing even took out 1 million yuan and used all the money to support children in poor mountainous areas to go to school. Walk out of the police station. Chu Youwei lowered his head and spoke cautiously. Sukan, you won't be angry, will you? Sukan turned his head and looked at Chu Youwei. Why would I be angry? Because I let Ding Shui and the others go. Do you think I am too saintly? Sukan smiled slightly and rubbed Chu Youwei's little head. I support you in whatever decision you make. What's more, this is reality, not fiction. If this were a novel, Ding Shui's parents would be arrogant and domineering. Lin Shanshan should be punished and sent to prison for life. Ding Shui and the others will also go in, and it will end up being a dog-eat-dog situation. But this is reality. Our one action, one decision can change their lives. If this matter can allow the three of them to survive, why should I blame you for becoming a useful person to society? After getting Sukan's answer, Chu Youwei instantly smiled,. Thank you, Sutsan. I really don't know what I would do without you. Often a smile only lasts for a moment. As soon as they walked out of the police station, a Rolls-Royce stopped in front of them. The car door opened. Chu Xiao sat in the car and watched the two people walking together. The moment I saw my daughter's beautiful smile, Chu Xiao felt like his heart was about to melt. But the moment she saw Sukan, her originally softened heart immediately became as hard as a rock. Smiles are transferable. Chu Xiao stopped smiling, and Chu Youwei stopped smiling. Netizens are going to laugh. Dad. Dad? Is Chu Youwei calling me? No, it should be the man in the opposite car who was shouting. The face that was originally as smiling as a flower now looked extremely cold. What are you doing here? Chu Xiao seemed to have long been accustomed to his daughter's cold attitude. My daughter is in trouble. I came to take a look. Isn't it my duty to show some concern? You don't need to take care of my business. Where were you when my mother was in trouble? Where were you when the whole family needed you the most? Where were you when I was in danger? Now you tell me I'm in trouble, you want to care about me. I don't need it, I don't accept it. Chu Youwei changed from her usual weak attitude, her tone filled with complaints and resentment. Chu Xiao let out a long sigh. He knew Chu Youwei's heart knot. It can't be solved in a short time. Chu Xiao did not reply to Chu Youwei, but turned to look at Sukan. You must be Sukan. Why don't you get in the car and sit down and chat? After listening to this, Chu Youwei grabbed Sukan's hand and was about to walk away. But he found that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move Sukan at all. Youwei, this is your father, isn't he? Uncle wants to talk to me about something, so let us talk. It's better than him coming to talk to me privately. Isn't he it? Chu Youwei frowned and got into the car. His eyes were fixed on Chu Xiao. It seemed to be saying, if you dare to bully Sukan, I will never forgive you in my life. Looking at the father and daughter who are at loggerheads, Sukan didn't know how to respond either. Sukan knew that Chu Xiao cared very much about his daughter. Sukan only had a general idea of what happened between them. It is difficult to tell who is right and who is wrong. But Chu Xiao's love for Chu Youwei is beyond doubt. According to the progress of the previous life, Chu Youwei quickly started working at the Chu group after graduation. Relying on his strong personal abilities, he achieved great results in a very short time. Chu Xiao gradually handed over all power to Chu Youwei. The relationship between the two also showed signs of easing. Everything Chu Youwei did was backed by Chu Xiao. If the knot between father and daughter could be resolved in this life, it might be a good thing. And he heard about it among the people. There seems to be a deeper secret behind the matter of Chu Youwei's mother. Sukan was just about to sit in the passenger seat. Chu Youwei suddenly pointed at Chu Xiao and said, "You go down, Sukan, come and sit here." After hearing his daughter's words, Chu Xiao's already dark face looked even darker. It was like the ox-head and horse-face monster that had just crawled out of the hole of hell. For a moment, Sukan stood in front of the car door, not knowing whether to go in or go back.